In the heart of Venezuela, a land forgotten by time rises above the dense jungle canopy, Mount Roraima, a colossal tabletop mountain that seems to float above the clouds. This ancient tepui, one of the oldest geological formations on Earth, is a realm of strange and wondrous beauty. Sheer cliffs, nearly 400 meters high, enclose the summit, making it appear as an impenetrable fortress sculpted by the gods. The journey to the top is arduous, requiring days of trekking through thick rainforest, across rushing rivers, and up steep rock faces slick with mist. But those who reach the summit are rewarded with a landscape unlike any other. Atop Roraima, the world feels alien. The ground is a jigsaw of blackened stone, eroded into bizarre shapes over millions of years. Deep sinkholes and cavernous pits hide secrets from an ancient past, while twisted rock formations take on shapes so surreal they resemble something from another planet. Water pools in natural basins, their still surfaces reflecting the ever-changing sky. Strange carnivorous plants thrive in this nutrient-poor soil, their vibrant green leaves contrasting against the dark, weathered stone. Mist rolls over the edge like a living entity, hiding and revealing the landscape in a ghostly dance. It is easy to see why this place inspired Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World. Standing atop Roraima feels like stepping back in time, into a land untouched by modern hands. Far from the misty heights of Venezuela, the pristine waters of the Philippines conceal another of the Earth's breathtaking wonders, the Enchanted River. Hidden deep within the jungles of Mindanao, this narrow, sapphire-blue waterway seems almost unreal, its clarity so perfect that the riverbed is visible even at great depths. The water shifts from pale turquoise near the edges to an impossibly deep blue at its center, as if an artist had painted it with a brush dipped in the sky itself. No one knows exactly how deep the Enchanted River is, as divers have yet to reach its true bottom. Locals speak of its supernatural origins, believing that spirits guard the waters, preventing anyone from fully uncovering its secrets. At noon, something extraordinary happens. The river undergoes a transformation as schools of fish, large and small, emerge from the depths in a synchronized display. It is as if the river itself has called them forth, their shimmering bodies flashing in the sunlight. Moments later, the water turns eerily still, as if the river breathes in before exhaling life once more. Swimming here is a dreamlike experience. The water, cool and pure, embraces those who enter, its depths whispering of mysteries yet to be discovered. In the heart of Iran's desert, where the sands stretch endlessly under the burning sun, lies a place that seems conjured from a dream, Badab-e-Surt. This extraordinary natural wonder consists of cascading terraces of orange, red, and gold, formed by mineral-rich hot springs over thousands of years. The travertine pools, filled with water reflecting the sky, glow with an ethereal light at sunrise and sunset, as if ignited from within. Each terrace overflows into the one below, creating delicate ripples that shimmer in the shifting light. Walking barefoot along these formations, one can feel the warmth of the water, rich in salts and minerals, believed by locals to possess healing properties. The silence of the surrounding desert amplifies the experience, making it feel as though time has slowed to a crawl. It is a place that defies expectation, a hidden jewel in a land known more for its arid plains than for cascading pools of liquid fire. Thousands of miles away, in the wild landscapes of Canada, another extraordinary sight unfolds. Abraham Lake, where the waters are trapped beneath a spell of ice and air. In winter, This vast glacial lake transforms into a scene of frozen magic. Bubbles of methane, released by decaying organic matter at the lake's bottom, become trapped beneath the thick ice, forming ghostly white orbs suspended in layers. They appear like frozen pearls, scattered through the depths, creating a mesmerizing effect that stretches as far as the eye can see. Walking across the ice is an experience of pure wonder. The frozen surface, smooth as glass, reveals the trapped bubbles beneath, creating an illusion of depth and movement. Cracks run in jagged lines through the ice, adding to the eerie beauty of the landscape. As the sun dips below the horizon, the frozen lake takes on hues of violet and indigo, its surface glowing under the soft twilight. The silence here is absolute, broken only by the occasional deep groan of the ice expanding and shifting, a reminder that this frozen world is alive, constantly changing beneath the surface. From the icy landscapes of Canada, we journey to the heart of Africa, where an ancient rock formation defies gravity, Lias Gil, Somalia. Hidden away in the arid wilderness, this remarkable site is home to some of the oldest rock art in the world, painted by unknown hands over 5,000 years ago. The caves and rock shelters, nestled beneath an overhanging cliff, are adorned with vibrant images of long-horned cattle, human figures, and mysterious symbols, their colors preserved in astonishing clarity. Stepping into Las Gil is like stepping back in time, into the world of an ancient civilization that once thrived in this now harsh environment. The paintings tell a story of life in a time when the land was fertile and teeming with wildlife. Red, ochre, and yellow pigments still cling to the rock, untouched by the centuries, a testament to the craftsmanship and culture of a lost people. Unlike many famous archaeological sites, Lias Gil remains relatively unknown, its solitude adding to the sense of sacredness. Here, among the echoes of an ancient past, one cannot help but feel the weight of history pressing against the present. Half a world away, beneath the pristine waters of the Yucatan Peninsula, lies a hidden labyrinth of caves known as the Sistema Sac Actun. This vast underground river system, stretching over 215 miles, is the longest submerged cave network on the planet. A world of unimaginable beauty beneath the surface. Diving into its depths, one enters a silent realm where time seems to have paused. Stalactites and stalagmites, formed over millennia, hang like frozen chandeliers from the ceiling, their delicate structures mirrored in the still, crystal-clear water. The cave walls glow with an otherworldly light as shafts of sunlight pierce through openings in the jungle floor above, illuminating chambers filled with water so clear it seems invisible. Hidden within this underwater labyrinth, archaeologists have discovered ancient human remains and artifacts, suggesting that these caves were once used as sacred sites by the Maya. The sensation of swimming through these silent corridors is both exhilarating and humbling, a reminder that even beneath the surface, the earth holds wonders beyond imagination. In the remote deserts of Saudi Arabia, the sandstone monoliths of Al-Ula rise from the golden sands, their colossal forms shaped by wind and time. Among them stands the breathtaking marvel of Hegra, an ancient Nabatean city rivaling Petra in its grandeur. Its tombs, carved directly into the towering rock faces, remain largely untouched by modern civilization, their intricate facades whispering of a forgotten empire. Walking among these silent stone monuments, one feels the presence of those who came before, merchants, kings, and travelers who once passed through this sacred valley. The desert, though harsh, is alive with a quiet energy. As the sun sets, casting the cliffs in hues of deep orange and crimson. The entire landscape seems to pulse with history. The air, filled with the scent of dry earth and distant acacia trees, carries echoes of an era long gone. Here, where the sands stretch endlessly toward the horizon, the ruins of Hegra stand as a testament to a civilization lost to time, yet never truly forgotten. In the heart of the Indian Ocean, where the waters shimmer in shades of sapphire and jade, lies the island of Socotra, a place so strange and isolated that it seems to belong to another world. Known as the Galapagos of the Indian Ocean, Socotra is home to a collection of flora and fauna found nowhere else on Earth. The island's most famous inhabitant is the dragon's blood tree, an ancient umbrella-shaped tree with twisted branches that stretch toward the sky. Its crimson sap, which bleeds from cuts in its bark, was once prized for its medicinal and mystical properties, giving the tree its legendary name. Walking through a forest of these peculiar trees feels like stepping into an alien landscape. The ground is parched and rocky, yet life flourishes in the most unexpected ways. Bottle trees, with their swollen trunks and pink blossoms, dot the arid plains, while limestone caves and massive dunes carve surreal shapes into the land. The coastline, rugged and wild, is home to pristine beaches where the sand glows white under the tropical sun. As the waves crash against towering cliffs, the wind carries a strange stillness, one that speaks of isolation, mystery, and the passage of time in a world untouched by modern civilization. On the opposite end of the world, in the heart of Patagonia, lies a hidden gem of unparalleled beauty, Cueva de las Manos, the Cave of Hands. Tucked away in a remote canyon in Argentina, this prehistoric site holds some of the most astonishing ancient artwork ever discovered. Handprints, painted in red, black, yellow, and white, cover the rock walls, left behind by indigenous people over 9,000 years ago. Standing before these ghostly imprints, one cannot help but feel the presence of those who came before. The hands, stenciled with natural pigments, seem frozen in time, whispering of long-lost rituals, stories, and beliefs. Among the handprints are depictions of guanacos, abstract symbols, and hunting scenes, offering a glimpse into the lives of the earliest inhabitants of Patagonia. The surrounding landscape, a barren expanse of cliffs and scrubland, only adds to the feeling of stepping into an ancient, sacred space, one where history lingers in every crack and crevice. From the painted caves of Argentina, we traveled to the depths of the Pacific, where the Yonaguni Monument lies hidden beneath the ocean's surface. Off the coast of Japan's Yonaguni Island, massive stone formations rise from the seabed, their perfectly cut steps, terraces, and angular edges defying natural explanation. Some believe these underwater structures are the remnants of an ancient, lost civilization, perhaps even the fabled Atlantis, while others argue they are the result of natural geological processes. Diving into the clear, blue waters, the scale of the Yonaguni Monument becomes apparent. Towering stone platforms, staircases, and symmetrical ridges stretch across the ocean floor, their sharp lines contrasting with the surrounding coral and marine life. Schools of fish dart through the submerged corridors, and the occasional hammerhead shark glides silently overhead. Whether carved by human hands or the work of nature, the Yonaguni Monument remains an enigma, one that invites speculation, wonder, and a deep respect for the mysteries that lie beneath the sea. Far from the depths of the Pacific, the remote highlands of Ethiopia conceal another of the world's most astonishing wonders, the churches of Lalibela. Hewn directly from solid rock, these medieval churches, carved entirely below ground level, stand as a testament to human devotion and ingenuity. Dating back to the 12th century, each church was meticulously chiseled from volcanic rock, creating entire cathedrals hidden within the earth itself. The most famous of these subterranean sanctuaries is Bete Georgis, or the Church of St. George. Viewed from above, its cross-shaped design is perfectly symmetrical, as if crafted by divine hands. Narrow passageways, tunnels, and courtyards connect the churches, forming an underground labyrinth where monks in flowing robes move silently through the shadows. The air is filled with the scent of frankincense, and the walls, darkened by time, echo with the soft murmurs of prayer. Pilgrims from across the world journey to Lalibela, drawn not only by faith but by the sheer wonder of a place where architecture, history, and spirituality intertwine in a way found nowhere else on earth. From Ethiopia's ancient churches, we step into the surreal world of China's Zhangye Danxia landform, where the earth itself becomes a canvas of unimaginable color. Known as the Rainbow Mountains, this geological wonder stretches across China's Gansu province, its hills streaked with vibrant reds, oranges, yellows, and blues. The colors, formed by mineral deposits over millions of years, shift and change with the light, creating a mesmerizing illusion of painted landscapes. As the sun rises over the hills, the colors intensify, casting golden shadows across the rippling terrain. Trails wind through the mountains, offering breathtaking vantage points where the full spectrum of hues unfolds before the eye. The formations, eroded into bizarre shapes by wind and rain, seem almost fluid, their curves and ridges frozen in a state of eternal motion. Walking through Zhangye Danxia is like wandering through an abstract masterpiece, where nature itself has become the artist, painting with a palette more vivid than anything man could create. In the heart of the Arctic, where ice and sky merge into an endless expanse of white and blue, lies an island unlike any other, Svalbard. This remote Norwegian archipelago, situated between mainland Europe and the North Pole, is a land of glaciers, frozen fjords, and vast tundras inhabited by polar bears, Arctic foxes, and reindeer. It is one of the northernmost inhabited places on Earth, where the sun never sets in summer and never rises in winter. Drifting through the icy waters by boat, towering icebergs gleam like sculptures carved by unseen hands, their surfaces reflecting every shade of blue imaginable. Seals lounge on floating ice, while whales breach the frigid waters in displays of raw power. The silence here is almost otherworldly, broken only by the distant creak of shifting ice or the howl of the wind sweeping across the frozen wilderness. And in the depths of winter, when the Arctic night reigns supreme, the sky erupts in an explosion of color as the northern lights dance above the icy horizon, illuminating the landscape in ethereal greens and purples. Svalbard is a place where the boundaries of the world blur, where nature reigns supreme, and where those who venture here become witnesses to the raw beauty of the extreme north. In the midst of the Indian Ocean, a geological marvel lies hidden beneath the waves, the so-called underwater waterfall of Mauritius. Off the coast of this lush tropical island, an optical illusion unlike any other creates the appearance of a vast waterfall plunging into the depths of the ocean. In reality, this breathtaking effect is caused by sand and silt being swept off the underwater plateau, creating the illusion of cascading water when viewed from above. Flying over the phenomenon, the contrast between the shallow turquoise lagoon and the deep navy blue ocean beyond is mesmerizing. The swirling currents of sand create a hypnotic pattern, as if the very fabric of the ocean is being pulled into the abyss. Yet standing on the shore, gazing out at the calm, glassy waters, there is no indication of the illusion that lies beneath. It is a reminder of how perception shapes reality and how nature, time and time again, proves itself capable of the most extraordinary tricks. In the vast, golden expanse of the Sahara Desert, where the dunes stretch endlessly toward the horizon, a hidden spectacle emerges from the shifting sands. The Reshat structure, also known as the Eye of the Sahara. This massive circular geological formation in Mauritania is so large that it can only be fully appreciated from space, resembling a giant, swirling eye embedded in the desert floor. For years, scientists debated its origins, some believing it to be the remnants of an ancient meteor impact, while others theorized that it was once a volcanic dome eroded over time. Standing at the edge of the structure, the ridges spiral outward in perfect symmetry, their bands of rock revealing layers of Earth's ancient history. The sheer scale of the eye is mind-boggling, stretching over 40 kilometers in diameter, its concentric rings creating an almost hypnotic effect. Despite its remote location, the Richa structure has long been a point of fascination, not just for geologists, but also for those who believe it may have inspired the legend of Atlantis. Whether a natural wonder or a remnant of an ancient lost world, the Eye of the Sahara remains one of the planet's most enigmatic formations. Thousands of miles away, in the cold waters off the coast of Norway, another breathtaking phenomenon takes shape: the Saltstraumen maelstrom, the strongest tidal current on Earth. Every 6 hours, as the tides shift, massive volumes of water surge through a narrow strait, creating a furious whirlpool that churns with unimaginable power. The swirling vortexes, some reaching up to 10 meters in diameter, form as the seawater funnels through the passage, moving at speeds of up to 37 kilometers per hour. Approaching by boat, the experience is both exhilarating and terrifying. The water roars like a living beast, its spirals and eddies forming and vanishing in seconds. Fishermen, however, have long embraced the maelstrom, as it brings with it an abundance of fish, including cod and halibut, drawn to the nutrient-rich waters. To witness the Saltstraumen is to see the ocean at its most untamed, a reminder that even in our modern age, the forces of nature remain beyond human control. From the frozen north, we descend into the tropical depths of the Amazon rainforest, where a river unlike any other flows. Boiling River of the Amazon, or Shanai Timpishka. Hidden deep within the Peruvian jungle, this mysterious river runs hot enough to scald, its waters reaching temperatures of nearly 100 degrees Celsius. For centuries, locals have spoken of the river's supernatural powers, believing it to be guarded by a serpent spirit. Scientists, however, have uncovered a more earthly explanation. Geothermal activity beneath the surface heats the water, creating this incredible anomaly. The experience of standing at its banks is surreal. Steam rises in ghostly tendrils from the river's surface, curling through the dense jungle canopy like a living entity. The water, though inviting, is dangerously hot, capable of cooking small animals that mistakenly fall in. Daring visitors can dip their fingers in, feeling the near-boiling heat radiating from below. As the jungle hums with the sounds of unseen creatures, the boiling river remains an enigma, a place where science and legend intertwine in the heart of the Amazon. From the dense rainforest, we now travel to the Himalayan heights of India, where an eerie and chilling discovery lies hidden among the peaks. Rupkund Lake, also known as Skeleton Lake. Nestled at an altitude of over 5,000 meters, this remote glacial lake remains frozen for most of the year. But when the ice melts, a haunting sight is revealed. hundreds of human skeletons, their bones scattered beneath the crystal-clear waters. First discovered in the 1940s, the mystery of who these people were and how they died has puzzled researchers for decades. Recent studies suggest that the skeletons date back to multiple time periods, some as far back as 1,200 years. The prevailing theory is that a catastrophic hailstorm, with hailstones the size of cricket balls, struck a group of travelers, killing them instantly. The dry mountain air preserved their remains, leaving behind a mass grave frozen in time. Standing at the edge of Ropekund Lake, surrounded by the silent peaks, the weight of history presses in, a sobering reminder of nature's unforgiving power and the fragility of human existence. Half a world away, in the remote Pacific waters of Palau, another hidden wonder lies beneath the surface. Jellyfish Lake. Unlike any other body of water on Earth, this marine lake is home to millions of golden jellyfish that have evolved without natural predators. Over thousands of years, these jellyfish lost their ability to sting, making it possible for swimmers to glide among them without harm. Floating in the warm waters, surrounded by thousands of pulsating, translucent creatures, is a surreal and dreamlike experience. The jellyfish move with the sun, drifting in mesmerizing patterns as their delicate bodies catch the light. The silence beneath the surface is profound, broken only by the rhythmic movement of water and the gentle touch of jellyfish brushing against the skin. It is a place that feels almost sacred, a reminder of the strange and wondrous paths evolution can take when left undisturbed. From the hidden depths of the ocean, we ascend to the dazzling heights of the Italian Alps, where the glow of an ancient phenomenon still mesmerizes visitors, Monte Cristallo's Enrosadera. Known as the alpenglow, this rare optical illusion occurs at sunrise and sunset, when the peaks of the Dolomites ignite in shades of pink, red, and fiery orange. The legend behind the phenomenon speaks of a lost kingdom, its palaces and gardens once bathed in golden light, now forever sealed in stone. As the sun dips below the horizon, the mountains seem to breathe with color, their rocky faces glowing as if lit from within. For a few brief moments, the world is transformed, the sky and stone blending in a dance of light. This fleeting magic, a phenomenon explained by the unique mineral composition of the Dolomites, captures the essence of nature's ability to inspire awe. Standing atop the peaks, watching the mountains burn with impossible beauty, one feels the weight of time, the slow and steady forces that shape the world in ways both seen and unseen. Descending from the heights of the Alps, we now step into the endless grasslands of Mongolia, where a natural spectacle known as the Flaming Cliffs illuminates the vast desert landscape. Officially called Bayanzag, these sandstone cliffs glow an intense red under the setting sun, earning their fiery name. But it is not just their color that makes them extraordinary. These cliffs are one of the world's most significant fossil sites, home to some of the greatest dinosaur discoveries in history. It was here, in the 1920s, that paleontologists unearthed the first dinosaur eggs ever found, forever changing our understanding of prehistoric life. Even today, the cliffs continue to reveal secrets from the ancient past, their layers of rock holding the remains of creatures that roamed the earth millions of years ago. Walking along the sun-baked ridges, with the wind carrying whispers of the past, the sense of deep time is overwhelming. The Flaming Cliffs stand as a gateway to another era, a bridge between the world of today and the age of giants. Beneath the azure waters of the Indian Ocean, off the coast of Tanzania, lies a place where reality blurs into illusion. The submerged ruins of the so-called Lost City of Kilwa Kisiwani. This ancient Swahili trading hub, once one of the richest and most powerful cities in Africa, has been slowly reclaimed by the sea over centuries. The remnants of grand palaces, coral stone mosques, and intricate courtyards now lie beneath the waves, their walls encrusted with marine life. Diving into the clear waters, the past comes alive in eerie silence. Sunlight filters through the surface, casting ghostly shadows over what was once a thriving metropolis. Schools of fish dart through doorways that once led to sultans' chambers, and sea turtles glide past crumbling archways covered in coral. Though partially submerged, parts of Kilwa Kisiwani still stand on land, including the Great Mosque, one of the oldest in sub-Saharan Africa. Exploring this lost city, whether above or below water, is like stepping into a forgotten chapter of history, where the whispers of merchants, explorers, and kings seem to echo through the ruins. We journey to the volcanic heart of Iceland, where another surreal landscape emerges: Havarir, the steaming, sulfuric badlands of the north. Here, the earth breathes in plumes of white steam, its surface bubbling with mud pools and hissing fumaroles. The air is thick with the scent of sulfur, and the ground, painted in shades of orange, red, and yellow, appears almost alien. Walking through this geothermal wonderland is an experience unlike any other. The mud pots gurgle and spit, their surfaces alive with constant motion. Cracks in the earth release jets of scalding steam, forming ghostly wisps that dissolve into the sky. The silence is eerie, broken only by the occasional distant rumble of the earth shifting beneath the crust. Havarir is a place where the planet's raw energy is on full display, a reminder that beneath our feet, the earth is constantly alive, restless, and ever-changing. Across the world, in the remote desert of Saudi Arabia, another hidden marvel stands untouched by time: the edge of the world. Officially known as Jebel Firain, this dramatic escarpment rises abruptly from the endless sea of sand, its sheer cliffs dropping off into an abyss that stretches beyond the horizon. Standing at the edge, the view is staggering: a seemingly infinite desert landscape, interrupted only by the occasional dry riverbed winding through the earth like the remnants of an ancient ocean. As the wind howls through the cliffs, the feeling of standing at the end of the world becomes overwhelming. The vast emptiness below, the silence of the desert, and the sheer scale of the landscape create a sensation of complete isolation. At sunset, the rock formations glow in hues of gold and amber, and the sky transforms into a canvas of fiery reds and purples. This is a place where time seems meaningless, where the past, present, and future blur into the endless expanse of sand and sky. From the scorching deserts of Arabia, we descend into the lush jungles of Guyana, where a waterfall of unparalleled majesty thunders into the depths below. Kayatour Falls. Hidden within one of the most pristine rainforests on Earth, this waterfall is nearly 5 times taller than Niagara Falls, yet remains almost completely untouched by tourism. The sheer volume of water cascading over the edge is staggering, creating a constant roar that echoes through the jungle. Approaching Kayatour Falls is an experience of pure exhilaration. The mist rises in thick clouds, nourishing the dense greenery that clings to the cliffs. Brilliantly colored parrots and golden frogs, found nowhere else in the world, thrive in the ecosystem surrounding the falls. The power of nature is overwhelming here, unbridled and untamed, a reminder that in some corners of the world, wilderness still reigns supreme. Standing at the edge, looking down into the abyss, one cannot help but feel a sense of insignificance against the backdrop of such raw, natural power. Beyond the rainforests of South America, on the sun-baked plains of Australia, another marvel unfolds: the Pinnacles Desert. Here, thousands of limestone pillars rise from the golden sands like ancient monoliths, their shapes weathered by time and erosion. Some stand tall like silent sentinels, while others twist into bizarre formations, their shadows stretching across the dunes in the fading light. Walking through the pinnacles feels like stepping into a landscape sculpted by another era. The silence is profound, disturbed only by the whisper of the wind shifting the sand. As the sun sets, the entire desert transforms, the limestone pillars casting long, eerie silhouettes against the deepening hues of the sky. The pinnacles are more than just rock formations. They are nature's sculptures, shaped over millions of years, standing as silent witnesses to the passage of time. Half a world away, in the waters off Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, another place of astonishing beauty hides just below the surface: the Museo Subacuático de Arte, an underwater museum unlike any other. This sunken gallery, filled with over 500 life-sized sculptures, lies beneath the turquoise waters of the Caribbean, providing both a surreal diving experience and an artificial reef to promote marine life. Swimming among the statues is both haunting and mesmerizing. Figures of men, women, and children stand frozen in time, covered in coral and algae, slowly becoming part of the underwater world. Schools of fish weave between the sculptures, and stingrays glide effortlessly over the sandy ocean floor. The museum is a striking fusion of art and nature, a place where human creativity meets the rhythms of the sea. It is a reminder of both the fragility and resilience of the ocean, a submerged sanctuary where beauty continues to evolve beneath the waves. In the heart of Turkmenistan's Karakum Desert, where the sands stretch endlessly under the scorching sun, a fiery abyss has burned for more than 50 years. The Darvaza gas crater, ominously known as the door to hell. This infernal pit, measuring nearly 70 meters across, was created in 1971 when a Soviet drilling operation accidentally struck a massive underground gas pocket, causing the ground to collapse. Fearing the release of toxic gases, geologists set the crater alight, expecting the fire to burn out within days. Instead, it has raged ever since, consuming the endless supply of methane beneath the surface. Approaching the crater at night, the scene is otherworldly. Flames leap from the pit's depths, casting a hellish glow against the dark desert sky. The heat is intense, radiating outward in waves that distort the air, while the roaring sound of burning gas fills the silence of the surrounding wasteland. Standing at its edge, peering into the churning flames, one feels a primal unease, as if glimpsing something not meant for human eyes. The door to hell is both mesmerizing and terrifying, a reminder of mankind's power to awaken forces beyond its control. From the burning desert, we journey to the lush highlands of Papua New Guinea, where the boiling lake of Dominica hides deep within the jungle, shrouded in mist and mystery. This cauldron-like body of water, one of the largest boiling lakes in the world, is an astonishing natural wonder fueled by volcanic activity. The lake's surface constantly churns with scalding water, its color shifting between shades of gray. The air is thick with sulfur, and plumes of steam rise in ghostly spirals, obscuring the view. The journey to reach the boiling lake is an adventure in itself. Trekking through dense rainforests, across steep ridges and bubbling hot springs, One feels as though they are stepping through a land untouched by time. The lake itself appears suddenly, an immense, steaming basin hidden within a rocky crater. Legends among local communities speak of spirits dwelling within its depths, and indeed, standing before its seething waters, it is easy to believe in the presence of something beyond human comprehension. Far from the volcanic landscapes of Papua New Guinea, deep beneath the frozen surface of Antarctica, lies an invisible wonder, Lake Vostok, one of the world's largest and deepest subglacial lakes. Trapped beneath nearly 4 kilometers of ice, this vast body of water has remained isolated from the surface for millions of years, untouched by sunlight, wind, or human interference. It is a place so remote and extreme that it has been compared to the potential conditions of alien oceans beneath the icy crusts of moons like Europa. Scientists have drilled into the ice, retrieving water samples that hint at the presence of microbial life capable of surviving in extreme environments. What lies beneath remains largely unknown, a hidden world where ancient organisms may have evolved in complete isolation, untouched by the planet's shifting climates. To stand on the surface above Lake Vostok is to stand on the edge of the unknown, peering down into a vast, dark abyss that has held its secrets for longer than human civilization has existed. We move to the dazzling, crystal-clear waters of Croatia's Plitvice Lakes National Park, a paradise of cascading waterfalls and emerald pools hidden within a pristine forest. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is a symphony of flowing water, where 16 interconnected lakes spill into one another through a series of waterfalls, creating a landscape of breathtaking beauty. Walking along wooden pathways suspended above the water, visitors are surrounded by nature's artistry. The lakes change color throughout the day, shifting between shades of turquoise, deep blue, and emerald green, depending on the minerals and sunlight. Waterfalls crash down limestone cliffs, sending fine mist into the air, while fish glide lazily beneath the surface. In the stillness of the forest, the only sounds are the whisper of flowing water and the rustling of leaves. A peaceful retreat where time seems to slow, and the wonders of nature unfold with quiet elegance. Venturing from the desert to the depths of the ocean, we now arrive at the eerie and mesmerizing Green Lake of Austria. Unlike any other lake in the world, this body of water appears and disappears with the seasons. In winter, it is little more than a shallow pond surrounded by alpine meadows. But as the snow on the surrounding mountains melts in spring, the water level rises dramatically, submerging the entire valley, including trees, benches, and walking paths, beneath crystal-clear water. Diving into Green Lake during its peak is like exploring an underwater fairy tale. Sunken park benches sit in perfect stillness, while fish swim between submerged tree trunks. The lake bed, once a grassy meadow, remains intact beneath the water, giving the illusion of a drowned world preserved in a perfect, glassy state. By late summer, the water recedes once more, leaving behind nothing but a dry valley, as if the lake had never existed at all. High in the remote Altai mountains of Mongolia, where the winds whisper through endless valleys and the sky stretches in an unbroken expanse of blue, lies the eerily beautiful valley of the Kurgan and Khotan lakes. This untouched wilderness, surrounded by snow-capped peaks and ancient petroglyphs carved into stone, is one of the most pristine landscapes on Earth. The twin lakes, fed by glacial meltwater, glow in shades of aquamarine, reflecting the dramatic scenery that encircles them. Nomadic Kazakh herders, who have lived in this harsh yet stunning environment for centuries, still traverse these lands with their eagle hunting traditions intact. Golden eagles, trained from a young age, sit perched on their handlers' arms, their sharp eyes scanning the horizon for prey. At sunrise, when the mist clings to the surface of the lakes and the first golden light spills over the mountaintops, the valley feels suspended in time, an unspoiled world where nature and tradition exist in perfect harmony. From the frozen wilderness of Mongolia, we travel to the sun-scorched salt flats of Iran, where the mesmerizing landscape of Dasht-e-Lut unfolds in a vision of heat and silence. Known as one of the hottest places on Earth, with surface temperatures recorded at over 70 degrees Celsius, this vast desert is a place of extremes. Its heart is dominated by the Khaluts, towering wind-sculpted rock formations that rise like ancient ruins from the desert floor. These surreal, cathedral-like structures, shaped over thousands of years by relentless winds, cast long, eerie shadows in the fading light of sunset. The silence in Dasht-e-Lut is absolute, so profound that it has been described as one of the quietest places on the planet. There are no animals, no plants, just the endless dance of sand and wind. At night, under a sky untouched by artificial light, the Milky Way unfurls in breathtaking clarity, casting a celestial glow over the endless dunes. It is a place where time dissolves, where the vast emptiness makes one feel both insignificant and deeply connected to the raw, untamed forces of the deserts of Iran. In the icy reaches of Canada's Yukon Territory lies another hauntingly beautiful spectacle: the frozen explosion of the Takini Hot Springs. Each winter, when temperatures plunge to bone-chilling extremes, visitors to the hot springs engage in a bizarre yet mesmerizing tradition, tossing their wet hair into the freezing air, where it instantly crystallizes into fantastical, gravity-defying shapes. The result is a surreal display of frozen sculptures, wild halos of ice fanning out from their heads like living works of art. Surrounded by a vast wilderness of snow-covered forests and towering mountains, the Takini Hot Springs offer a rare juxtaposition of elements: scalding heat from beneath the earth and the unforgiving chill of the Arctic winter. Bathing in these thermal waters as the northern lights shimmer overhead is an experience few ever forget, a moment where fire and ice coexist in perfect balance, where nature's extremes collide in spectacular beauty. From Canada's frozen landscapes, we dive into the cerulean depths of the Indian Ocean, where the glowing shores of Vadhu Island in the Maldives transform the night into a celestial dream. Here, the sea itself comes alive with an ethereal radiance, as billions of bioluminescent plankton light up the waves with an electric blue glow. Each movement, a footstep in the wet sand, a hand trailing through the water, triggers a burst of luminescence, as if the stars themselves have fallen into the ocean. This phenomenon, known as Sea of Stars, occurs due to the natural defense mechanism of the plankton, which emit light when disturbed. Wading into the glowing waves at night is an experience that feels almost supernatural, a surreal merging of sky and sea, where every splash sends ripples of light cascading across the surface. The illusion is so perfect, so otherworldly, that it is easy to believe one has stepped into a realm beyond Earth, where the boundaries between reality and dream blur into one. Half a world away, in the depths of South America's Andean foothills, a hidden world of color reveals itself: Vinicunca, the Rainbow Mountain of Peru. Rising nearly 5,200 meters above sea level, this striking geological wonder appears as if painted by the hands of the gods themselves. Stripes of red, yellow, turquoise, and lavender sweep across the mountain's ridges, a result of mineral deposits oxidizing over millions of years. Reaching the summit of Vinicunca is no easy feat, The high altitude and thin air make the ascent a challenge, testing the endurance of even the most experienced trekkers. Yet, those who make the climb are rewarded with an awe-inspiring panorama, an alien-like landscape of rolling, multicolored peaks stretching toward the horizon. The wind whistles through the valleys, carrying the sound of distant herds of alpacas and the occasional Andean condor soaring high above. To stand atop Rainbow Mountain is to witness the Earth's hidden artistry, a masterpiece painted over millennia by the forces of time, wind, and rain. From the towering Andes, we now descend into the subterranean wonders of Mexico's Cave of the Crystals, an underground cathedral of astonishing beauty. Discovered beneath the Nika mine, this cavern is home to some of the largest natural crystals ever found, massive, sword-like selenite formations that stretch for over 10 meters and weigh several tons. The cave, which sits above a chamber of molten magma, remains at a staggering 58 degrees Celsius with nearly 100% humidity, making it one of the most inhospitable environments ever explored. To step inside this shimmering cavern is to enter a world unlike any other. The crystals, translucent and glowing with an unearthly radiance, seem to defy nature itself. The air is thick with heat, and every movement is a struggle against the suffocating humidity. Scientists speculate that these crystals took hundreds of thousands of years to grow, forming in conditions so extreme that life itself is nearly impossible. It is a place where the boundaries between science fiction and reality dissolve, where the planet reveals its hidden treasures in forms beyond imagination. Far beneath the cave's shimmering walls, in the depths of the ocean, another natural wonder unfolds, the ethereal realm of the Great Blue Hole off the coast of Belize. This vast circular sinkhole, plunging over 120 meters into the ocean floor, is a portal to the unknown, an abyss that has fascinated divers and explorers for decades. From above, its near-perfect shape contrasts sharply against the turquoise waters of the surrounding reef, creating the illusion of a bottomless void. Diving into the Great Blue Hole is a descent into darkness, where the light fades rapidly, replaced by an eerie stillness. Massive limestone stalactites, formed during the last ice age when the hole was a dry cavern, hang from the walls like the ruins of an ancient cathedral. The deeper one goes, the colder and more silent the world becomes, a realm where time has ceased to exist. In the hushed depths of the abyss, surrounded by formations untouched for millennia, one is reminded of how much of our planet remains unexplored, how many mysteries still wait in the dark, unseen and unknown. In the dense jungles of Cambodia, swallowed by time and nature, lies the forgotten city of Ko Ker, a mysterious and remote temple complex that once stood as the capital of the Khmer Empire. Unlike the famous Angkor Wat, which sees thousands of visitors daily, Ko Ker remains largely untouched, its ruins hidden beneath a thick canopy of towering trees. The crowning jewel of this lost city is Prasat Tom, a seven-tiered pyramid that rises unexpectedly from the jungle, its stone steps leading toward the heavens. Climbing to the summit, the view is breathtaking, a vast expanse of untouched forest stretching in every direction, with only the distant hum of the jungle breaking the silence. Ancient stone carvings, weathered by centuries, whisper tales of a forgotten civilization that once thrived in these lands. Tree roots snake through the crumbling ruins, reclaiming the structures as part of the earth. To walk through Ko Ker is to step into a lost world, a place where history and myth intertwine, where the ruins of a mighty empire remain hidden beneath the embrace of nature. From the ruins of Cambodia, we journey to the high-altitude plateaus of Bolivia, where the eerie beauty of Laguna Colorada defies all expectations. This shallow, blood-red lake, set against a backdrop of snow-capped volcanoes, is one of the most surreal landscapes on Earth. The lake's striking crimson hue comes from the presence of algae and minerals, which react with sunlight to create a color so vivid it appears almost unnatural. Flamingos, their pink feathers blending with the lake's surface, wade gracefully through the shallow waters, feeding on the microscopic organisms that give Laguna Colorada its distinct color. The surrounding terrain is equally bizarre. Salt flats, mineral deposits, and steam vents create an alien-like environment where the air is thin and the wind howls across the barren expanse. At sunset, the lake transforms into a mirror of fire, its surface reflecting the sky's golden hues in a breathtaking fusion of light and color. It is a place of pure magic, where the forces of nature come together in a spectacle that seems more like a dream than reality. Deep in the heart of the Sahara Desert, another hidden wonder lies buried beneath the sands. Tintin's Arches, a remote and mesmerizing rock formation in Algeria's Tassili Najer National Park. These massive, naturally sculpted arches rise from the desert floor, like the remnants of an ancient fortress, their weathered surfaces shaped by millennia of wind erosion. The surrounding landscape is a masterpiece of natural art. Towering rock pillars, labyrinthine canyons, and petroglyphs etched into the stone by prehistoric humans. Exploring this vast, Martian-like terrain feels like wandering through a forgotten world. The silence is absolute, broken only by the whisper of shifting sand and the distant call of desert falcons. At night, the sky explodes with stars, their brilliance undimmed by light pollution, making this one of the best stargazing locations on Earth. The Milky Way stretches across the heavens in dazzling clarity, and the constellations shine as they did for the ancient civilizations that once roamed this land. It is a place of solitude and wonder, where the weight of time is almost tangible, and the beauty of the universe feels closer than ever. Far from the desert heat, beneath the cool waters of Italy's Lake Rhetian, lies a site that belongs in legend, a lone church bell tower rising from the depths, its pointed spire breaking the surface of the water like a ghostly sentinel. This submerged relic is all that remains of the old village of Grosne, which was deliberately flooded in the 1950s to create a hydroelectric reservoir. Today, only the bell tower of the 14th century church remains visible, a haunting reminder of the past. In winter, when the lake freezes over, visitors can walk across the ice to the tower, hearing whispers of long-lost history carried by the wind. Local legend speaks of the bells still ringing beneath the water, though they were removed long ago. The surreal sight of the lonely steeple emerging from the blue expanse of the lake makes it one of Europe's most mysterious and captivating places, a bridge between past and present, between what was and what remains. Thousands of miles away, on the frigid shores of Greenland, an icy anomaly lies concealed beneath the vast expanse of the frozen wilderness. The Hiawatha Crater, a massive impact crater hidden beneath nearly a kilometer of ice, was only recently discovered, an ancient scar in the Earth's surface, evidence of a cataclysmic event that may have changed the course of history. Scientists believe the crater, measuring over 31 kilometers in diameter, was formed by a massive asteroid impact, possibly one of the most significant in human history. Some theorists even suggest that this event could be linked to the sudden climate shifts that triggered the end of the last ice age. If true, it means that the Hiawatha impact may have wiped out early civilizations, altering the trajectory of human evolution in ways we have yet to fully understand. Exploring the frozen depths of the crater is nearly impossible. The ice, shifting and relentless, hides its secrets well. But radar imaging has revealed traces of an enormous impact, evidence of a fiery explosion that would have sent shockwaves around the world. Some believe that the comet or asteroid responsible may have been part of a larger celestial event, one that left its mark on cultures across the globe, passed down in myths and stories of great floods and cosmic devastation. The icy landscape of Greenland is eerily silent, its frozen rivers and towering glaciers stretching as far as the eye can see. Beneath this desolation, however, lies a story written in fire and stone, waiting to be deciphered. The Hiawatha crater serves as a reminder that our planet has been shaped by forces beyond our control, that even now, hidden beneath the ice, there are truths yet to be uncovered. On the opposite side of the world, deep within the Australian outback, another geological marvel baffles scientists and travelers alike. The Pinnacles Desert, a vast expanse of limestone formations rising from golden sand dunes, appears like a surreal alien landscape, a place where stone sentinels stand in eerie silence, casting long shadows beneath the scorching sun. What makes the pinnacles so unusual is the sheer variety of their shapes and sizes. Some formations resemble jagged towers, others take the form of rounded domes, while some appear almost like ancient tombstones, scattered haphazardly across the desert. Theories on their origin vary. Some suggest that they are the remnants of an ancient seabed, eroded by time, while others believe they were formed by a unique combination of wind, water, and the slow dissolution of limestone. As the sun sets, the desert transforms into a realm of shadows and golden light, the formations glowing like embers against the darkening sky. At night, the Milky Way stretches overhead in breathtaking clarity, its reflection mirrored in the stillness of the sand. Aboriginal legends speak of the pinnacles as the remnants of an ancient battle between spirits, their towering shapes frozen in time as a reminder of past conflicts. There is an almost mystical quality to this place, an uncanny feeling that the pinnacles were not merely shaped by nature, but by something beyond our understanding. Walking through the endless maze of stone, one can't help but feel like an intruder in an ancient cathedral, where the echoes of time still linger in the desert air. Hidden deep within the heart of Norway's Lofoten archipelago, a land of otherworldly beauty unfolds, a place where jagged peaks rise like ancient sentinels from the sea, their reflections mirrored perfectly in fjords, so still they appear like glass. The Lofoten Islands defy reality, a dreamscape of soaring mountains, secluded beaches, and fishing villages painted in crimson and ochre, standing defiantly against the Arctic winds. Here, time slows. The scent of salt and pine lingers in the crisp air, mingling with the distant aroma of drying cod, a centuries-old tradition that still shapes the local way of life. In the village of Rein, perhaps the most picturesque of them all, red wooden cabins known as Roerboer perch on stilts above the water, their humble facades belying the breathtaking spectacle of nature that surrounds them. From here, a world of adventure awaits, kayaking across sapphire fjords, hiking to peaks that scrape the heavens, or sailing beneath the ethereal glow of the midnight sun. For those who dare to ascend Reinebringen, a mountain path that carves its way up steep cliffs, the reward is a view that seems almost impossible. A mosaic of emerald islands scattered across an endless blue, fjords winding between them like veins of liquid silver. It is a sight that steals the breath, leaving only awe in its wake. But Lofoten's magic does not end with the summer's light. As winter descends, the sky becomes a stage for the greatest natural performance on Earth, the Northern Lights. Curtains of emerald and amethyst ripple across the heavens, reflecting off the snow-dusted peaks and casting an eerie glow upon the icy waters below. To witness the aurora here, in this land where nature still reigns supreme, is to glimpse something beyond human understanding, an ancient force, whispering secrets in the wind. Thousands of miles away, on the other side of the world, lies a landscape just as surreal yet entirely different. The staggering dunes of Lençóis Maranhenses in Brazil. At first glance, this vast expanse appears to be an endless desert, waves of white sand stretching beyond the horizon. But this is no ordinary desert. As the rainy season arrives, a transformation occurs that seems like an illusion. Between the dunes, thousands of crystal-clear lagoons form, shimmering in shades of turquoise and jade, creating a sight that exists nowhere else on Earth. Walking barefoot across the dunes, the sand feels impossibly soft, sculpted into ever-shifting patterns by the relentless wind. The lagoons, formed by trapped rainwater unable to drain through the impervious rock beneath, offer an oasis like no other. Some are deep enough to swim in, their cool, translucent waters providing a surreal contrast against the sun-scorched sands. Few places on Earth feel as untouched as Lençóis Maranhenses. There are no roads, no cities, only endless dunes, their curves glowing gold beneath the setting sun. The silence here is profound, broken only by the rustle of the wind and the distant call of migrating birds. As night falls, the sky ignites with stars, their reflections shimmering upon the water-filled valleys, creating a landscape that feels as if it belongs to another planet. Despite its remoteness, those who venture here find themselves drawn into a world of hidden wonders. In the small fishing village of Athens, life moves to the rhythm of the tides. Hammocks sway lazily beneath palm-thatched roofs, while locals cook fresh seafood over open flames, the scent of grilled prawns mingling with the salty breeze. It is a place that offers no luxury except the luxury of time. Time to watch the sunset paint the sky, to lose oneself in the rolling dunes, to exist in a moment of pure tranquility. And from the green jungle, leap into the flame-stained sky of Ethiopia's Tigray region, where the rock-hewn churches of Abuna Yamata Gu defy gravity and reason. There is no place on Earth like it, and no path more humbling. You begin at the base of a cliff that rises more than 2,500 meters into a cobalt sky. From there, it's a vertical ascent. No steps, no railings, just barefoot on the stone. Your fingers gripping ancient handholds, the wind roaring past like a warning. The climb alone feels like a rite of passage, a test of faith even for the faithless. At the summit, carved directly into the sandstone face of the mountain, waits a tiny chapel, unreachable by road, untouched by modernity, and unshaken by time. Its entrance is a narrow ledge with a sheer drop on either side. There is no safety net, only space, air, and conviction. Inside, by flickering candlelight, the walls bloom with frescoes painted more than 1,000 years ago, faces of saints, wings of angels, and the great eyes of prophets staring out from ochre and indigo, preserved in sacred stillness. The room smells of dust, of wax, of history. Outside, the view is biblical. A panorama of canyons, peaks, and clouds, all spread beneath you like the opening lines of Scripture. This is not a tourist site. It's a secret between man and God. And whether you believe in divinity or not, in that moment, standing where monks once carried scrolls in silence, where barefoot pilgrims still arrive with trembling hands. You feel something vast, something impossible. From Ethiopia's heights, fall now into Iceland's heart, to a place where water moves like thought and color sings like thunder, the Studlagill Canyon, hidden in the remote highlands of East Iceland. It doesn't look real. That's the first thing that strikes you. The canyon walls are vertical pillars of basalt, rising in perfect hexagonal patterns like the organ pipes of a forgotten cathedral. They stretch skyward in rhythmic rows, dark gray and ancient, formed from cooled lava and sculpted by time. Between them flows a river that changes color with the seasons. In summer, when the ice has melted and minerals shift, the water turns a radiant, surreal turquoise. So pure, so impossibly bright, it seems to glow from within. You stare, and it stares back, silent and still and watching. You reach it by hiking through open country, past sheep-dotted hills and whispering grasslands, until suddenly the ground opens, and there it is. A canyon carved not by chaos, but by precision. Climb down carefully, and you'll find yourself dwarfed by stone. The columns rise on either side like sentinels, their textures grooved by millennia of wind and rain. You sit on one. You touch its edge, and it hums faintly, as if the earth still remembers its forging. It's quiet here. No crowds, no guards, no fences. Just geology exposed in its most intimate state, like finding the pulse of the world and listening close. And as the sky shifts from gray to gold, and the wind begins to howl through the gorge, you'll realize the truth. The most unbelievable places on Earth aren't the loudest. They're the ones that whisper. Where the Andes descend in wild waves toward the Amazon basin, a secret world of waterfalls and cloud forests unfurls in the hidden paradise of Gocta, Peru. The waterfall itself, a twin-ribboned giant, tumbles from the heavens in an endless roaring plunge, its mist weaving silver veils through the thick green of the jungle. To reach it is no casual stroll. It is a passage through dense ferns and ancient moss-shrouded trees, each step accompanied by the heartbeat of unseen birds and the occasional flash of a brilliant butterfly dancing through shafts of sunlight. Local legend tells of a mermaid who guards these waters, and standing before the roaring immensity of Gocta, it is easy to believe that the land itself is alive with spirit. The falls were hidden from the outside world until astonishingly recently, only officially recorded in 2005, though villagers had long known of their power and mystery. The trail winds along ridges that open suddenly to sweeping vistas of endless green valleys, the world a riot of life and motion, every leaf trembling with the breath of the forest. Approaching the base, the thunder of the falls grows until it vibrates in your bones, and the cool spray kisses your skin, making the air electric and alive. Look up, and the cascade disappears into a vault of sky so high it seems to belong to another world altogether. Monkeys chatter distantly in the canopy, and somewhere deep within the endless forest, jaguars move like shadows, unseen but ever present. Gocta is not a tourist attraction. It is an initiation, a journey into a living cathedral of water and stone, where nature reigns not with gentleness, but with awe-inspiring majesty. Beyond the borders of Namibia's deserts, and beneath a sky so wide it threatens to swallow the horizon, the haunting beauty of the quiver tree forest emerges like a dream. Scattered across rocky plains near Keetmanshoop, the quiver trees stand not in ordered ranks, but in strange, poetic gatherings, each one twisting and reaching toward the heavens in frozen dance. Their bark peels away in golden plates that shimmer under the relentless sun, and their branches, thick and gnarled, bloom with clusters of pale yellow flowers when the seasons permit. Named by the indigenous Sand people, who use the hollowed branches to craft quivers for their arrows. These trees are ancient sentinels, some standing silently for over 200 years. Walking among them feels like wandering through a forest sculpted not by time, but by dream and memory. As dusk descends, the landscape transforms. The sun pours molten gold across the earth, igniting the trees in a brief, fierce blaze of color before slipping away into the ink of night. Then, the real magic reveals itself. Under the velvet darkness of the Namibian sky, the Milky Way stretches in impossible clarity, a river of stars so dense and brilliant it seems to pull at your very soul. The quiver trees stand silhouetted against this galactic tapestry, their outlines sharp and surreal, creating a scene so breathtaking it feels like you have stepped beyond the edge of the world. Coyotes call to each other across the vastness, their voices echoing across stones worn smooth by ages. Here, the silence is not empty. It is full, resonant, humming with the ancient songs of earth and sky. In the quiver tree forest, you are both infinitesimal and infinite, a fleeting breath in a place where time is carved in stone and starlight. Across the Atlantic, in the high-altitude plains of Peru, another enigma stretches across the land, the sprawling, ancient carvings known as the Band of Holes. Nestled along the barren slopes of the Pisco Valley, this bizarre formation consists of thousands of man-made depressions, perfectly arranged in rows that extend for miles. Some are shallow, others deep enough for a person to stand in, yet their purpose remains an unsolved mystery. Unlike the more famous Nazca lines, which depict animals and geometric shapes, the Band of Holes lacks any recognizable pattern or artistic intention. Were they granaries, used by the ancient Inca for food storage, burial sites for an unknown civilization, or something far stranger, perhaps markers for an ancient astronomical calendar or a code waiting to be deciphered? Even satellite images fail to provide clarity, instead revealing an even more perplexing detail. The holes are not randomly placed, but appear to follow an intentional design, as if created by a civilization with knowledge we have yet to understand. Some researchers believe the Band of Holes could be connected to a lost, pre-Incan culture, one that thrived in the region long before the rise of the great Andean empires. Standing amidst the endless rows of these mysterious indentations, one cannot help but feel an overwhelming sense of wonder. The sheer scale of the effort required to carve thousands of these formations into the earth suggests an advanced society with a purpose lost to time. Until the mystery is unraveled, the Band of Holes will continue to spark curiosity, a cryptic message from the past that defies explanation. Deep beneath the ocean's surface, where light fades into an eternal twilight, a geological phenomenon of unparalleled strangeness lies hidden: the underwater river of Cenote Angelita. Located in Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, this submerged marvel appears to be an ordinary cenote at first glance, a deep sinkhole filled with crystal-clear water. But as divers descend past 30 meters, an astonishing sight emerges. What looks like a flowing river, complete with a visible current, fallen tree branches, and even a distinct shoreline. This illusion is the result of a rare natural occurrence known as a halocline, where waters of different salinities separate, creating the stunning effect of an underwater river. The dense, heavier layer of hydrogen sulfide forms a thick, mist-like boundary, creating the eerie appearance of a river running beneath the cenote's depths. To divers, the effect is surreal, as if they have entered a world where reality has folded in on itself, where rivers flow beneath the ocean and forests exist submerged in silence. What makes Cenote Angelita even more fascinating is its role in Mayan history. The cenotes of the Yucatan were considered sacred gateways to the underworld, known as Xibalba. Rituals and offerings were often made in these deep, mysterious pools, and some cenotes have been found to contain artifacts, pottery, and even human remains, suggesting that they were used for ceremonies of great spiritual significance. Descending into the waters of Cenote Angelita is like entering another dimension, where the rules of nature blur and the boundary between land and sea dissolves. Those who have ventured into its depths describe an experience that is both awe-inspiring and unnerving, as if stepping through a doorway into a world that exists beneath our own, hidden just beyond the reach of ordinary sight. In the remote reaches of the Pacific Ocean, where the waves roll endlessly into the horizon, an island emerges like a vision from another world. This is the island of Yonaguni, Japan's westernmost territory, a place where the boundaries between myth and reality blur beneath the sea. Just off its rocky coast lies one of the most controversial underwater structures ever discovered, the Yonaguni Monument, an immense stone formation that appears to be an ancient sunken city. Beneath the cerulean waters, massive stone terraces rise from the seabed, their edges sharp and geometric, as if carved by human hands. Giant staircases, flat platforms, and towering pillars suggest the remains of a forgotten civilization, one that may have existed before recorded history. Some researchers believe Yonaguni could be the remnants of an ancient, lost city swallowed by the ocean thousands of years ago, possibly connected to the fabled lost continent of Mu. Others argue that the monument is a natural formation, sculpted by tectonic activity and underwater erosion over millennia. Yet, as divers explore the depths, they find more questions than answers. Strange symbols etched into the rock, precise 90-degree angles, and what appear to be roads and walls defy simple geological explanations. Schools of fish weave through the submerged corridors, their movements undisturbed by the weight of history that rests beneath the waves. Whether a natural anomaly or the ruins of an advanced civilization long forgotten, the Yonaguni Monument remains one of the ocean's greatest mysteries. The currents that flow through its depths whisper of secrets lost to time, inviting those who dare to dive into the unknown to uncover the truth of this enigmatic place. But even in a world of towering peaks and cascading waterfalls, some of the most surreal landscapes are found not in the mountains, but in the deserts. Deep in the remote wilderness of Saudi Arabia, hidden within the vast emptiness of the Arabian Peninsula, lies a place so hauntingly beautiful that it has been called the edge of the world. Here, the land drops away in sheer, unbroken cliffs that stretch for miles, their jagged edges standing defiant against the vast desert that sprawls into infinity. From the summit of these towering escarpments, the view is beyond words, a horizon that seems endless, a silence so profound it feels as if the earth itself is holding its breath. This ancient landscape was once a seabed, long before time sculpted into the towering limestone formations that now define its eerie beauty. Fossilized corals and shells still litter the ground, remnants of a vanished ocean that once covered this land. Today, the only movement comes from the shifting sands far below, the dunes rolling in silent waves beneath the ever-changing sky. To stand at the edge of the world is to feel truly small, to gaze upon a landscape that existed long before human footsteps ever touched its surface. The wind howls across the cliffs, carrying with it the stories of travelers who have wandered these lands for centuries. Bedouin traders, explorers, and those who seek the unknown. But the wonders of the desert do not end here. Further south, in the Rub al-Khali, the empty quarter, another marvel awaits. This is the largest continuous sand desert on Earth, an expanse of golden dunes that rise and fall like a frozen sea. Some towers over 800 feet high, their ridges sculpted into intricate patterns by the ceaseless winds. At sunset, the desert is set aflame in hues of amber and crimson, the shadows stretching endlessly across the dunes in a landscape that feels both infinite and untouched. For those who dare to venture into this unforgiving wilderness, the experience is unlike any other. The silence is absolute, a void so complete that it becomes almost deafening. At night, beneath a sky untouched by city lights, the stars blaze with an intensity rarely seen elsewhere, their light casting a soft glow upon the dunes, turning the desert into an ethereal dreamscape. Yet even in this vast emptiness, life endures. The Bedouins, the desert's ancient guardians, have navigated these sands for generations, their knowledge of the land passed down through centuries. To sit beneath their tents, sharing sweet tea by the fire, is to experience a culture as enduring as the desert itself. A reminder that even in the most inhospitable places, the human spirit finds a way to thrive. Cross now to the raw northern edge of Portugal, where mist dances through emerald ravines and stone staircases disappear into cloud. Peneda Gerês National Park. It is the country's only national park, and yet few beyond the Iberian Peninsula have heard of it. That's part of the spell. This is not a manicured landscape. This is wilderness with history. Wolves still roam the higher ridges. Ancient shepherds' trails lead through shadowy forests, where oaks twist and lean like elders whispering to one another. Waterfalls pour from granite cliffs into crystalline pools so perfect, they look painted. The air tastes like moss and old rain. Every path feels like it's been walked for 1,000 years. Scattered through the park are stone villages that seem untouched by time. Soajo is one of them, a collection of slate-roofed houses cradled in a bowl of green, where cows still return home unchaperoned, and granite grain stores called espigueiros stand like sentinels on stilts. You eat caldo verde in family kitchens, hear folk songs sung in dialects few outsiders understand, and fall asleep to the sound of wind moving through pine. But it's the water that leaves the deepest mark. The pools of Poço Azul, fed by mountain springs, shimmer in hues that seem unreal, sapphire and emerald, pure and cold. You step in and lose your breath, not from fear, but from awe. Every stone beneath your feet is smooth as bone. Every ripple carries the memory of mountains. Here, the wilderness is not to be conquered. It is to be followed. And when you do, it rewards you with beauty that feels both eternal and immediate, like stepping into a dream your ancestors once had. Now lift off to a different rhythm, to the rolling waves of Ireland's west coast, but not to the cliffs you know, not to Moher or Dingle. Instead, find Inishmore, the largest of the Aran Islands, where windswept stone meets sacred stillness. Inishmore is a place of walls, dry stone walls that stretch across the island like lines of poetry carved into the land, dividing nothing, enclosing only air and memory. There are no trees, only stone and grass and sky. The Atlantic crashes against sheer cliffs with such force it makes the earth tremble. And yet, above it all, silence reigns. You arrive by ferry. The sea is often rough, and it's said that Inishmore tests who is meant to see it. But when the island reveals itself, low, green, weathered, it calls you in completely. Bicycles are the main form of travel. You ride along coastal lanes, past grazing donkeys and whitewashed cottages. The wind smells like salt and something older. Turf smoke, maybe, or time itself. You climb to Dun Aungasa, a prehistoric stone fort perched on the edge of a 100-meter cliff. There are no railings, no warnings, only sky above and the infinite drop below. You lie on your belly and look over the edge, and the ocean stares back, endless, dark, alive. The spray rises in plumes that soak your face, and in that moment, you understand why ancient peoples chose this place to build their last stand. It is raw, exposed, indomitable. In the evening, the island quiets to a murmur. The pubs glow warm, filled with fiddle music and the low clink of glasses. Locals speak in Irish, not for show, but because it's still alive here. A living tongue, a living land. And when you walk back under a sky so full of stars, it feels heavy. The wind tugs at your coat like it's trying to tell you one more story. Far across the Pacific Ocean, cradled by emerald peaks and the endless sigh of the sea, lies the island of Uapu, a hidden jewel of the Marquesas archipelago in French Polynesia. Towering basalt spires thrust into the sky like the broken teeth of sleeping gods, veiled in wisps of cloud and mystery. The land is an explosion of green, thick with breadfruit trees, hibiscus, and the heavy perfume of tiar flowers carried on salt-sweet breezes. Villages here are clusters of color between the jungle and the shore, where red-roofed houses overlook harbors the color of purest sapphire. To arrive in Uapu is to be folded instantly into a tapestry of story and song. Ancient chants that speak of warriors and voyagers, tattooed skin telling tales older than memory itself. The heartbeat of the island drums in the earth, in the laughter of children racing along beaches strewn with black volcanic sand, in the songs rising from communal gatherings under the open sky. Trails wind upward into the highlands, where moss carpets the stones and the air grows thin and sharp with altitude. From the peaks, the world falls away into endless ocean, a deep and living blue that breathes against the coral reefs, ringing the island like a protective spell. The spirit of Uapu is one of fierce pride and tender reverence, a place where the past is not forgotten, but lives vividly in every dance, every carving, every sacred stone hidden along forgotten forest paths. As dusk falls, the basalt spires catch the last dying light, their shadows stretching long across the island as the first stars blink awake. Uapu is not merely an island, it is a living dreamscape, a world unto itself, where the ordinary dissolves and only wonder remains. In the windswept highlands of Ethiopia, where the land fractures into cliffs and yawning valleys, the village of Lalibela guards one of humanity's greatest, yet least known marvels. Here, 11 medieval churches are carved entirely from living rock, their rose-colored forms hidden below ground like treasures tucked into the earth's embrace. Approaching them, there is no grand facade, only simple openings in the sun-baked plateau that plunge downward into mystery. Descend, and the world above falls away. Narrow tunnels and weathered steps lead to courtyards where the monolithic churches rise, hewn from single stones by hands driven by unfathomable devotion. Bet Georgis, shaped like a perfect cross, stands isolated in a trench, its walls adorned only by the kisses of rain and centuries. The sandstone walls are cool to the touch, whispering of ancient prayers and the slow breath of stone through time. Robed priests drift between shadow and light, their chants resonating in chambers carved with such precision that sound seems to bend and linger, wrapping visitors in layers of reverence. Outside, the air buzzes with the murmurs of distant markets and the cry of goats scaling impossible inclines. The starkness of the surrounding landscape only sharpens the impossible reality of Lalibela, a sacred heartbeat carved into the very bones of the earth, echoing across centuries in soft, endless waves. Here, faith is not merely practiced, it is etched into existence, a permanent testament to humanity's yearning to touch the divine. Across the globe, in the vast deserts of Iran, an extraordinary spectacle unfolds in the dead of night. Deep within the Dasht-e-Kavir, Iran's largest desert, lies a region where the earth appears to glow with an eerie, pulsating light. This is the phenomenon of the starry salt flats, a place where millions of tiny salt crystals catch the moonlight, creating an illusion of a galaxy scattered across the ground. The effect is most breathtaking after a rare rainfall, when a thin layer of water settles over the desert floor, turning it into a mirror that reflects the cosmos above. It is an optical illusion so perfect that it becomes impossible to distinguish the heavens from the earth, as though one has stepped into an infinite expanse of stars. For those who witness it, the experience is transcendent. Standing in the heart of the desert, surrounded by celestial reflections, time and space lose all meaning. But the Dasht-e-Kavir is not just a place of beauty, it is also a land of extreme survival. The desert's surface, composed of cracked salt and shifting dunes, is one of the most inhospitable places on the planet. Temperatures soar to blistering levels during the day, then plummet into freezing cold at night. Few creatures can endure its harsh conditions, yet life persists in unexpected forms. Hardy shrubs that extract moisture from the air, elusive sand cats that prowl beneath the stars, and scorpions that glow under ultraviolet light, their exoskeletons revealing spectral shades of green and blue. Yet it is the silence of the desert that is most haunting. There are no birds, no rustling leaves, no flowing water, only an unbroken quiet that presses in from all sides. In such a place, far from the noise of civilization, it is easy to understand why ancient travelers believed the desert was inhabited by spirits, that the shifting dunes were alive, whispering in the wind. Meanwhile, on the distant shores of Madagascar, another wonder of nature rises from the earth, unlike anything seen elsewhere. This is Tsingy de Bemaraha, a vast forest of limestone pinnacles so sharp and impenetrable that it is often referred to as the stone forest. These needle-like formations, some reaching heights of over 100 meters, create a labyrinth so treacherous that even the most skilled explorers must navigate it with caution. What makes Tsingy even more astonishing is the fact that life thrives here against all odds. The forest is home to a variety of endemic species, tiny lemurs that leap effortlessly between razor-thin spires, camouflaged geckos that disappear against the limestone, and carnivorous plants that have adapted to extract nutrients from the air itself. Scientists believe that many species here have never been documented, hidden within the deep crevices of the stone, their existence unknown to the world. From above, Tsingy de Bemaraha resembles a frozen sea, a place where waves of rock seem to crash against the horizon. The formations have been shaped over millions of years, sculpted by rain and wind into the jagged masterpiece that exists today. Some of its crevices are so deep and narrow that sunlight never reaches their depths, leaving entire ecosystems shrouded in perpetual twilight. Despite its formidable landscape, the region is considered sacred by the Malagasy people, who believe that spirits inhabit the labyrinth. Local guides tell of strange occurrences within Tsingy, of shadows that move without cause, of eerie sounds echoing from unseen chambers. Whether these are myths or echoes of something yet undiscovered remains an open question. On the western cusp of Flores Island, cradled by cerulean seas and verdant hills, lies Labuan Bajo, a once sleepy fishing village now transformed into a gateway to wonders both terrestrial and marine. The town's charm is undeniable, with its harbor dotted by finissy schooners and its streets lined with vibrant markets offering the day's fresh catch and intricate ikat textiles. Yet, it is the allure beyond the shoreline that captivates the wanderer's heart. The nearby Komodo National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, beckons with promises of encounters with the majestic Komodo dragon, the world's largest lizard, whose presence evokes a primeval awe. Trekking through the park's rugged terrains, one is immersed in landscapes where savannas meet monsoon forests, and the air is filled with the symphony of exotic bird calls. Beneath the waves, an underwater Eden awaits. The park's coral reefs form a kaleidoscopic realm where manta rays glide gracefully, sea turtles weave through fields of swaying anemones, and schools of vibrant fish dart between ancient shipwrecks cloaked in marine flora. Night dives reveal a world transformed, where bioluminescent creatures dance in the darkness, leaving behind shimmering trails of light that blur the boundaries between reality and fantasy. At the pinnacle of Labuan Bajo's allure is Padar Island, where a panoramic trek rewards adventurers with a surreal view of crescent-shaped bays embracing sands of starkly different hues, white, pink, and black, each a testament to nature's infinite creativity. At sunrise, the landscape ignites in a blaze of gold and crimson, a fleeting masterpiece painted anew each day by the heavens above. For those who linger, the town's allure deepens at dusk, as the setting sun casts a molten glow upon the sea, and the night hums with the gentle lapping of waves against wooden piers. In Labuan Bajo, the horizon is not an end, but an invitation, a promise of adventures yet to unfold in the embrace of the wild. Now shift your gaze to the Pacific Northwest, to a place where the earth is still writing itself in ash and steam. Not in the famous volcanic peaks, but in a forgotten corner of Northern California. The Lassen Volcanic Wilderness, a raw, cinematic canvas of bubbling earth, cobalt lakes, and ridgelines stitched in silence. It's a place that feels like it shouldn't exist. So many landscapes packed into one. Alpine forests, smoking fumaroles, crystal-clear lakes, and ancient lava beds all colliding in perfect contrast. There is something primal in the air here, like the ground remembers its own making. Bumpass Hell is its heart, a geothermal basin where the earth breathes visibly. Steam hisses from vents in the ground. Pools boil in colors that should not exist in nature. Teal, sulfur yellow, ghostly white. The wooden boardwalk winds like a question mark through it all, each step accompanied by the distant gurgle of boiling mud. It's a place of contradiction, violently alive, and yet deeply still. Climb higher, and the landscape shifts again. Lassen Peak looms above the world, dusted with snow even in summer. The views stretch to eternity. Forests like spilled ink, mountains like frozen waves, and at Lake Helen, the reflection of sky and mountain ripples in perfect rhythm with the breeze, as if nature itself were breathing in time with you. There are no billboards, no buzz, just wonder, dressed in silence. And now, to the furthest edge of Italy, where the sea meets legend and color is law. the town of Procida, the Rainbow Island. Less known than its famous siblings Capri and Ischia, Procida floats quietly in the Gulf of Naples, its pastel houses tumbling down to the harbor like scoops of sorbet. Pink, tangerine, lemon, mint, every facade kissed by sunlight, every corner touched by salt. Time here is slow by design. Fishing boats drift in and out of Marina Coricella, their nets glinting with silver scales and morning dew. Old women sit in doorways threading needles and stringing stories. Laundry flaps like prayer flags above narrow alleys paved with memory. You climb the winding staircases to Terra Murata, the island's ancient citadel, and the view opens like a secret. The whole of Procida spreads beneath you, vibrant, alive, but quiet. Beyond it, the Mediterranean stretches without end, a canvas of deep blue stitched with the white wakes of passing boats. Procida is a place that seduces softly, not with grandeur, but with detail. A chipped window pane painted a century ago, a lemon tree leaning over a balcony, a cat sunbathing on a crumbling step, and at dusk, as the sky turns lavender and the lanterns glow one by one, you understand. This island isn't performing. It simply is, beautiful without trying. In the dense folds of northern Laos, cloaked in mists and mystery, the village of Muang Ngoy rises quietly along the banks of the Nam U River. Accessible only by boat, it feels less like a place and more like a secret, whispered across centuries. Wooden bungalows perch above the water on stilts, swaying gently in the humid breeze, their verandas offering endless views of limestone cliffs that pierce the sky like ancient, sleeping titans. The mornings here are wrapped in silver fog, the river a mirror for the slow awakening of the jungle around it. The low calls of gibbons, the rush of unseen wings, the chorus of life stirring in the trees. Dirt paths wind from the village into endless green, leading to hidden caves where cool darkness swallows you whole, or to rice paddies shimmering under the sun like sheets of hammered gold. Children laugh barefoot along the muddy banks, their games accompanied by the rhythmic splash of oars cutting the water, as fishermen move like shadows beneath wide-brimmed hats. There are no cars, no busy hum of engines, only the ancient symphony of river, wind, and leaf. As sunset falls, the cliffs catch the dying light and blaze in colors too vivid to describe, and tiny lights flicker to life along the riverbanks, reflections shimmering and quivering on the water's surface like tethered stars. Muang Ngoy is a dream unshackled from the demands of the modern world, a place where you measure time not in minutes, but in the breath of the river, the pulse of the jungle, the slow drifting of clouds across a boundless sky. Tucked away in a hidden corner of the Carpathian Mountains, the Apuseni Natural Park in Romania unspools a world that feels untouched by time. Here, ancient beech and fir forests stretch endlessly, the sunlight filtering through the canopy in shattered golden rays that turn the air to honey. Gentle limestone hills give way to secret valleys and cavernous gorges, where underground rivers whisper their ancient songs beneath the earth. The park is laced with an intricate network of caves, some of the oldest in Europe, mystical worlds of crystal stalactites, frozen waterfalls, and chambers vast enough to swallow the sound of your own breath. Among these is Skarishwara Ice Cave, a colossal underground glacier where blue ice shimmers with ghostly light, untouched for millennia, a frozen heart beating beneath the mountains. Above ground, the meadows burst into a riot of color every summer, carpets of wildflowers waving like a living sea beneath the ever-changing sky. Villages dot the landscape with houses that seem to grow out of the earth itself, their wooden shingles weathered gray by countless winters, smoke curling lazily from stone chimneys. Shepherds guide their flocks across the hills, the soft bells of the sheep a music older than memory, a gentle pulse that seems to blend seamlessly with the whisper of the wind. The people here live with the land, not against it, their lives braided into the seasons with a grace few modern places still know. At night, the stars flood the sky with a brilliance so pure it feels almost too fragile to gaze upon, the Milky Way stretching from horizon to horizon like a bridge to forgotten realms. In Apuseni, the world slows, exhales, and offers itself back to you, whole and wild and unbroken. Moving inland, where the rugged landscapes of North Africa meet the open desert, the stunning oasis of the Enedi Plateau emerges like a vision from another time. Located in Chad, this vast sandstone labyrinth is one of the most isolated and unexplored landscapes on the planet. Towering rock formations rise like the ruins of an ancient civilization, their weathered faces carved into arches, pillars, and towering spires that defy gravity. Some formations resemble creatures frozen in stone, giant elephants, twisted serpents, or massive figures that seem to watch silently over the endless sands. The terrain is an ever-changing dreamscape of light and shadow, where the sun paints the rock in shifting hues of gold, crimson, and violet. Hidden within the cliffs, prehistoric cave paintings reveal the stories of those who once called this place home. Images of giraffes, warriors, and celestial beings adorn the rock, a reminder that this desolate land was once fertile and teeming with life. Some believe the plateau may still hold undiscovered secrets, underground chambers, lost passages, remnants of a forgotten civilization buried beneath the sands. Yet despite its isolation, life thrives here in surprising ways. Rare desert crocodiles lurk in hidden pools, their ancestors having survived in this harsh environment for thousands of years. The wind, a constant sculptor, whispers through the narrow canyons, carrying the scent of ancient dust and the echoes of a world long past. The Enedi Plateau is a place where time holds no dominion, where the bones of history stand exposed beneath an endless sky. Thousands of miles away, hidden deep within the untamed wilderness of Canada, lies one of the most perplexing and unexplored regions on Earth, the Nahanni National Park Reserve. Encompassing a vast stretch of the Northwest Territories, this remote landscape is home to some of the most dramatic natural wonders ever witnessed. Towering waterfalls plunge into mist-filled valleys. Rivers slice through deep canyons, and jagged mountains rise like the backs of slumbering beasts. But what sets Nahanni apart is the eerie reputation that shrouds it in mystery, the so-called Valley of the Headless Men. For centuries, indigenous tribes have warned that Nahanni is a cursed land, a place where those who enter often do not return. In the early 20th century, prospectors searching for gold vanished without a trace, their decapitated remains found years later. More chilling still, their wealth was untouched, suggesting that whatever took their lives had no interest in treasure. Other eerie tales speak of strange lights flickering in the sky, shadowy figures moving through the fog, and unexplained whispers carried on the wind. Despite these ominous legends, the landscape itself is breathtaking beyond measure. The thunderous Virginia Falls, nearly twice the height of Niagara, crashes into a chasm lined with sheer rock walls. Below, the Nahanni River carves its way through the wilderness, its turquoise waters reflecting the sky above. Rare wildlife, from elusive wolves to massive wood bison, roam the forests and tundra, living undisturbed in a world few have set foot in. Some explorers believe Nahani holds secrets yet to be uncovered, perhaps ancient cave systems untouched by time, or even lost evidence of a civilization long erased from history. Others, however, heed the warnings of the past, leaving the Valley of the Headless Men to its ghostly solitude. Whatever the truth, Nahani remains one of the last great frontiers of the unknown, a land where myth and reality blur into one. Far beyond the man-made wonders of Rotterdam, deep in the untamed wilderness of Iceland, another spectacle unfolds. Litli Hrútur, an extraordinary volcano that recently awakened after centuries of slumber. Here, amidst the desolate beauty of the Reykjanes Peninsula, the earth splits open, releasing rivers of molten rock that flow like liquid fire across the blackened landscape. Unlike violent, explosive eruptions, Litli Hrútur is mesmerizing in its steady, hypnotic outpouring of lava. Fountains of red and orange burst skyward, illuminating the night in an otherworldly glow. As the molten rivers cool, they form intricate patterns, their surfaces cracking and shifting as the earth reshapes itself in real time. It is a living, breathing reminder that our planet is never truly still, that beneath our feet, forces older than time itself continue their relentless work. To stand before an erupting volcano is to witness creation itself, to feel the raw pulse of the world as it builds and destroys in the same breath. The air is thick with the scent of sulfur. The ground trembles with each burst of lava, and the heat radiating from the flow is enough to scorch the skin. And yet, there is beauty in the chaos. A fiery ballet of destruction and renewal, a glimpse into the forces that forged the very land we walk upon. While Iceland's volcanic landscapes are among the most dramatic on Earth, another land of fire and stone lies hidden across the world, beneath the dense rainforests of Indonesia. Deep within the lush greenery of Java, the eerie glow of the Ayen crater reveals a sight so bizarre it seems almost impossible. Blue flames, rising from the earth like ghostly specters in the night. Unlike ordinary fire, which burns with hues of red and orange, the flames of Ayen glow an electric blue, their light flickering against the rocky slopes of the volcano. This phenomenon is caused by the combustion of sulfuric gases, which ignite as they escape from the crater's depths, creating an effect so surreal it appears to defy the very laws of nature. Within the crater itself lies another marvel, the world's largest highly acidic lake, a surreal expanse of turquoise water so toxic that it can dissolve metal. Despite its deadly nature, the lake's ethereal beauty is undeniable, its vibrant colors shifting in the dawn light as mist rises from its surface. The contrast between the eerie blue fire and the luminous waters creates a landscape that feels almost otherworldly, a place where the elements engage in an endless dance of creation and destruction. Yet, despite the dangers, life persists here. Miners, armed with little more than basic tools, descend into the crater each day to extract raw sulfur, carrying enormous chunks of the mineral upon their backs. Their silhouettes, framed against the glowing flames, appear as figures from another time. Workers in a hellish landscape sculpted by fire and fumes. From the searing heat of the desert to a place where ice reigns supreme, another wonder lies hidden at the edge of the world. In the remote wilderness of Greenland, where glaciers stretch to infinity and the auroras dance in the endless night, the Ilulissat ice fjord stands as a testament to nature's raw and untamed power. This vast expanse of ice and water is one of the most active glacier calving sites on the planet. The Cermek Kujalek Glacier, one of the fastest moving in the world, sends massive icebergs crashing into the fjord, where they drift like frozen monoliths towards the open sea. Some are the size of skyscrapers, their jagged peaks glowing with an ethereal blue, remnants of snow that fell thousands of years ago, now locked within the ice. Standing at the edge of the Ilulissat ice fjord, the silence is immense. Then, a distant rumble, like thunder rolling across the sky, signals that another section of the glacier has given way. Moments later, an enormous slab of ice breaks free, crashing into the water with a force so powerful it sends waves rippling across the fjord. The spectacle is mesmerizing and humbling, a reminder that in this frozen wilderness, nature is still in command. For those who venture beyond the shore, the experience becomes even more surreal. Kayaking through the labyrinth of icebergs, the scale of the landscape becomes overwhelming. Towering ice walls rise on either side, their surfaces sculpted by wind and water into intricate patterns of ridges and crevices. Seals bask on floating ice, their dark forms stark against the glowing white, while humpback whales surface in the frigid waters, exhaling misty plumes into the Arctic air. As night falls, the true magic of Greenland reveals itself. The sky erupts in a celestial firestorm, the northern lights unfurling in ribbons of green and violet, their ghostly glow reflecting off the ice-choked waters below. It is a sight so astonishing that it defies words, a reminder of how small and fleeting human existence is in the face of the ancient forces that shape our world. Now fly north to a land of fire and ancient kings, to a plateau carved from legend and dust. In central Iran, between deserts and mountains, lies the village of Abyaneh, a settlement kissed by rust and time, perched at the foot of Mount Carcass. The first thing you notice is the color. The entire village glows with a deep terracotta hue, homes sculpted from red mud brick, clinging to the mountainside in cascading tiers like a forgotten fortress. The sun hits these walls in the early morning, and they light up as if lit from within, glowing like embers. Narrow lanes snake through the village, cobbled and quiet, shaded by wooden balconies and heavy wooden doors carved with ancient patterns. Women pass by in floral veils, their faces weathered but kind, their steps graceful and unhurried. Their presence feels like a link to something older, a lineage of poetry and prayer, of craftsmanship and rootedness. Many still speak the Middle Persian dialect of Parthian, unchanged for centuries. You hear it in the market stalls, in the doorways, in the melodic greetings that follow you wherever you wander. The silence here is sacred. No blaring horns, no flashing lights, just wind moving between buildings, just birds tracing circles in the sky above the mosque's clay minaret. Just the feeling that somehow you are walking through a painting, one rendered not in oil, but in time. In Abyaneh, the past is not behind you. It's beneath your feet, in the walls, in the soil. It's alive. And then, far west, in the forgotten depths of the Balkans, there's a valley that seems born from folklore, a place where fairies might still dance, and the river runs clear as myth. This is the Rakitnica Canyon in Bosnia and Herzegovina, a land of cliffs and silence carved by water and war, but somehow still untouched in spirit. The Rakitnica River, a tributary of the Neretva, slices through a dramatic chasm more than 20 kilometers long. Towering cliffs loom over a waterway so clear it reflects the sky in full resolution. It's barely accessible. No casual roads lead here. To reach the heart of the canyon, you hike for hours through pine forests and across rugged terrain, descending into a world that feels entirely secret. But when you arrive, it's like discovering the Earth's hidden pulse. Small waterfalls trickle from moss-covered rocks, Wild goats dart along impossible ledges, and the silence is punctuated only by birdsong, by the sound of water curling around stone, by your own breath catching in your throat. The canyon narrows at points, so much so that you can stretch your arms and almost touch both sides. At others, it opens into sun-drenched meadows or turquoise pools that shimmer with untouched clarity. There are no fences here, no signs, just space. Wild, sacred space. Those who come speak of transformation, not in grand metaphors, but in the stillness that rewires your rhythm, in the rawness that strips away everything except presence. Rakitnica Canyon is not meant for the masses. It's a treasure buried in Balkan soil, waiting for the few who still seek the unbelievable and are willing to listen when they find it. In a forgotten corner of Japan's Honshu Island, nestled deep within the mountains of Toyama Prefecture, lies Gokayama, a village caught between the realms of history and fairy tale. The thatched roof houses here, known as Gasho Zukuri, rise like solemn monks in prayer, their steep, triangular roofs clasped in eternal supplication to the sky. Each structure is a living testament to endurance, weathering the weight of ferocious winter snows that bury the landscape in silence and white mystery. In spring, the melt reveals a hidden world. Gardens reawaken, rivers swell into glassy mirrors, and cherry blossoms drift like pink snow through the valley's crisp air. Wandering the narrow paths between the homes feels like walking through a memory older than any living thing. The scent of wood smoke curling through the air, the whisper of sandals against stone. Time folds strangely here. An afternoon can feel like a lifetime or a heartbeat. Lanterns flicker to life at twilight, their glow warm and flickering against the vast coolness of the mountain night. In the deeper folds of the valley, hidden shrines nestle among ancient cedar groves, their red torii gates bright against the deep green, weathered by centuries of reverent hands. The river hums with quiet persistence, threading its way past water wheels that once ground rice under the patient labor of the village. The spirit of Gokayama is not shouted. It is sung in hushed tones, written in the rough grain of timber, the cool mist rising from the fields, the soft laughter of children chasing fireflies in the dark. To walk through Gokayama is to step inside a living story, written in the language of mountain, water, and sky. Hidden away in the remote valleys of the Republic of Georgia, where the Caucasus Mountains loom like vast white sentinels, Omalo emerges from the mist like a secret long kept by the earth. The stone towers of the village, ancient and defiant, stand guard against the winds that sweep through the crags, silent witnesses to centuries of battles, births, and the slow turning of seasons. Omalo feels carved from myth itself, its rough stone paths winding through wildflower meadows and dense pine forests that smell of resin and rain. Herds of sheep move like living clouds across the steep slopes, their bells a chorus that rises and falls with the shifting wind. To reach Omalo, one must brave the vertiginous Abano Pass, a road of raw earth and trembling cliffs, where waterfalls cascade like silver threads down sheer faces and the mountains press close like breathing giants. Each turn of the journey strips away the noise of the world until only the essential remains. The rush of the river, the cry of an eagle, the taste of cold, clean air. Villagers greet you with the deep hospitality of a people who understand the rarity of shared moments in such an unforgiving land. Their smiles worn as comfortably as the woolen cloaks draped over their shoulders. At night, the sky over Omalo erupts in stars so sharp and numerous that it feels as if the mountains themselves are weeping silver. Shadows stretch long across the land, as the moon rises, casting the ancient towers in a light that blurs the edges of past and present. Here, every stone underfoot, every gust of wind through the juniper, is steeped in a fierce, rugged beauty that refuses to be tamed. Omalo is not simply seen, it is endured, embraced, and remembered in the marrow of your bones. Across the Pacific Ocean, hidden within the dense forests of the Philippines, another enigma lies concealed in the mountains of Bohol. The Chocolate Hills, named for their distinct shape and color, are a natural phenomenon unlike anything else in the world. Over 1,000 perfectly conical hills rise in uniform patterns across the landscape, their slopes covered in lush grass that turns a deep shade of brown during the dry season, giving them the appearance of endless chocolate mounds. Geologists have long debated the origins of the Chocolate Hills. Some believe they were formed by the slow erosion of limestone over millions of years, while others suggest that they may have been shaped by ancient coral deposits that once lay beneath the sea. However, local folklore offers a more poetic explanation, a story of two feuding giants who hurled boulders at one another for days, only to reconcile and leave their battlefield behind, the stones remaining as eternal reminders of their conflict. The sight of these perfectly shaped hills stretching endlessly into the horizon is almost hypnotic, as if one has stumbled into a dreamlike landscape conjured from another world. During sunrise and sunset, the hills glow with hues of amber and copper, their silhouettes creating an undulating pattern across the land. From certain vantage points, the sheer number of them is overwhelming, a rolling sea of earth that extends as far as the eye can see. In the heart of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, a breathtaking yet ominous natural wonder dominates the horizon. The Nyiragongo volcano, home to one of the world's largest and most volatile lava lakes. Rising above the dense jungles of Virunga National Park, this colossal stratovolcano is both a force of destruction and an unparalleled spectacle, a churning cauldron of fire that has mesmerized explorers and terrified those who dwell in its shadow. Unlike most volcanoes, Nyiragongo's lava is unusually fluid, flowing like water rather than the slow-moving molten rock seen elsewhere. This unique characteristic makes it one of the most dangerous volcanoes on the planet. Its eruptions are not gradual but explosive, sending rivers of molten rock racing down its slopes at speeds fast enough to outpace humans. In 2002, such an eruption obliterated entire neighborhoods in the city of Goma, leaving behind a haunting landscape of hardened black lava, frozen mid-motion, as if time itself had stopped. Yet despite its fury, Nyiragongo is a place of profound beauty. The lava lake, an ever-boiling pit of fiery orange and crimson, casts an eerie glow against the night sky, illuminating the surrounding clouds with an otherworldly radiance. The sight of this infernal abyss is hypnotic. Molten waves rise and fall in rhythmic patterns, a heartbeat of the earth itself. Scientists studying Nyiragongo have reported hearing a deep, resonant sound emanating from the lava, a low-frequency hum that vibrates through the air like an ancient song from the core of the planet. The trek to Nyiragongo's summit is an arduous journey, passing through lush rainforests teeming with mountain gorillas and rare wildlife before reaching the barren, wind-swept heights of the volcano. Those who brave the climb and peer into its depths describe a feeling unlike any other, a sense of standing at the very gateway to creation and destruction, where the earth is at its most raw and untamed. From the scorching sands of Brazil to a place where ice and fire collide, Patagonia's Perito Moreno Glacier stands as one of the last great wonders of the natural world, a frozen colossus of unfathomable scale and power. This immense river of ice stretches for nearly 19 miles, its jagged peaks and deep crevasses glowing with an eerie blue light. as if frozen in time itself. Unlike most glaciers, which are retreating due to climate change, Perito Moreno remains defiant, advancing inch by inch, reshaping the landscape as it moves. It is a living, breathing force of nature. Visitors stand in hushed reverence on viewing platforms as towering walls of ice calve into the waters below, the thunderous crack echoing across the valley like cannon fire. The icebergs that break away drift like ghostly monoliths across the turquoise waters of Lago Argentino, their forms sculpted by wind and waves into fleeting masterpieces. High in the mountains of China's Sichuan province, hidden within a remote valley of mist and legend, lies a place so otherworldly it feels like a dream made real. Jiuzhaigou Valley, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is a landscape of astonishing beauty, a place where jade-green lakes reflect golden forests, where waterfalls tumble from ancient cliffs, and where the seasons paint the land in an ever-changing masterpiece of colors. Stepping into Jiuzhaigou is like entering an enchanted realm. The valley, carved by glaciers and fed by pure mountain springs, is home to some of the most mesmerizing lakes in the world. Five Flower Lake, the crown jewel of the park, is a vision of impossible hues. Turquoise, emerald, and sapphire blending seamlessly in a kaleidoscope of shifting color. Beneath its crystalline surface, fallen trees from centuries past lie frozen in time, their skeletal forms visible through the perfectly transparent water. But Jiuzhaigou is more than its lakes. The Pearl Shoal waterfall cascades in delicate curtains over terraced limestone formations, its waters gleaming in the sunlight like liquid silver. In autumn, when the valley erupts into a blaze of crimson, amber, and gold, the waterfall becomes a shimmering ribbon threading through a forest of fire. The sight is so breathtaking that it feels almost unreal, a place conjured from ancient Chinese poetry rather than carved by nature. Throughout the valley, Tibetan villages dot the hillsides, their prayer flags fluttering in the crisp mountain air. Smoke rises from wooden homes, carrying the scent of butter tea and incense, a reminder that this land is not only a wonder of nature, but also a sacred place, deeply woven into the spiritual fabric of its people. Somewhere in the shadows of the Caucasus Mountains, where Georgia meets Azerbaijan in a quiet meeting of lands and legends, the hilltop town of Signagi floats above the Alazani Valley like a watchtower for forgotten dreams. Time moves differently here. You don't walk through this place. You drift, as if carried by the scent of grapes and the sigh of ancient winds. The cobbled streets wind like ivy between ochre rooftops and pastel balconies, each twist revealing a new vista. A monastery here, a crumbling fortress wall there, and beyond it all, a sea of vineyards undulating toward the snow-dusted ridges in the far distance. This is Kakheti, Georgia's winemaking heartland, where every stone has been stained with wine and memory. In the early hours, mist rolls in from the valley below, wrapping the town in a soft gray hush. You wake to the slow clang of a church bell, the creak of a wooden shutter, the gentle clatter of cups in a family kitchen. And by midday, the sun casts a golden sheen across the clay-tiled roofs, and the valley glows, 1,000 shades of green laced with river light. You'll find yourself invited in for wine, for bread, for laughter. The wine is homemade, the bread still warm, the laughter deep and generous. They don't offer it like a gift. They offer it like a duty, as if sharing joy is part of the land's unspoken law. And standing at the edge of the city wall, where swallows dive through the sky and silence hangs like music in the air, you realize Signagi isn't a town. It's a heartbeat, slow, steady, and utterly unforgettable. Now drift far east to the jungles of Thailand, where a river coils like a serpent through an emerald chasm, and where the Erawan waterfalls descend like a staircase carved for gods. Deep within Erawan National Park in Kanchanaburi Province, this seven-tiered cascade tumbles through the forest with an elegance so surreal it seems imagined. The lower pools shimmer a translucent jade, their surfaces broken only by the dart of fish and the gentle rainfall of falling leaves. The water is cool and sweet, flowing over smooth limestone like silk, forming natural terraces that beg to be stepped into. With every level you ascend, the world becomes quieter, greener, more sacred. Butterflies dance through shafts of sunlight like living brushstrokes. Macaques peer at you from the treetops, curious but indifferent. And the sound, that constant lullaby of falling water, becomes your companion, guiding you deeper into the dream. Some tiers are wide, curtain-like. Others narrow and tucked away, hidden beneath vines and rock overhangs. You climb barefoot, slowly, carefully, letting the earth speak through your soles. And at the seventh tier, after hours of ascent, you reach the crown, a broad, glittering pool beneath a towering veil of water. Here, even your breath quiets. Even your thoughts yield. It's not just a waterfall, it's a pilgrimage. On the far southern coast of Crete, hidden between towering cliffs and forgotten by most who only skim the island's tourist-worn edges, the village of Lutro sits like a lost sapphire cradled by the Libyan Sea. There are no roads that reach this place, only the open sea or rugged footpaths carved into the mountains. From the water, it appears like a vision. Whitewashed buildings clinging to the rocks, their blue shutters flickering against the blinding sunlight. A place untouched by the corrosion of time. Boats bob lazily in the crystalline harbor, so clear that it seems they are floating in mid-air, suspended above rippling shadows on the sandy seabed. The scent of grilled octopus and wild thyme drifts on the breeze, carried from tavernas where locals speak in soft, lilting tones, their conversations stitched with the rhythm of the waves. Narrow alleyways wander upward into olive groves and rocky trails leading to hidden beaches, secret coves where the sea cradles you in a cool, endless embrace. Beneath the shimmering surface, fish flicker in shoals of silver and coral gardens sway with the tide. At dusk, the village seems to sigh and lean into the coming night. The sky deepens into velvet, and the stars gather so thickly above that the universe feels just an arm's reach away. There is a silence here, not of absence, but of fullness. The sound of the earth breathing, the ancient pulse of water against stone. Lutro is not a destination you check off a list. It is a feeling you carry back with you, a place that hums like a secret in your heart, long after your footprints have vanished from its pebbled shore. High in the ridges of northern Albania, hidden among jagged limestone peaks and cloaked in the solitude of forgotten valleys, the village of Theth whispers its existence to those who dare seek it. A land that seems shaped more by myth than by geography, Theth lies within a cradle of fierce mountains, their faces sheer and impossibly steep, their crowns dusted with snow even as the meadows below hum with the green fire of summer. A stone church, centuries old, stands solitary among emerald fields, its whitewashed walls catching the first kiss of morning light, a sentinel in a place where time seems both ancient and newborn. The road to Theth is a pilgrimage itself, winding, precarious, breathtaking, leading you to a world untouched by the fevered pulse of modern life. Waterfalls tumble down cliff faces like molten glass, and the blue eye of Theth, A spring of impossibly clear, iridescent water pulses in the forest like a jewel dropped by the gods. The air smells of pine resin and river stones, and every footstep along the village's winding trails carries you deeper into a silence so profound it feels sacred. Shepherds move through the high pastures, their flocks' bells chiming softly under the open heavens, and the locals welcome you not as a visitor, but as an old friend returning from a long journey. At night, the stars sweep across the sky in a great silent procession, and the dark silhouettes of the mountains rise like ancient titans holding up the firmament. In Theth, you do not simply walk through a landscape, you dissolve into it, as if the earth and sky and water have remembered something about you that you had long forgotten. Deep within the vast expanse of Siberia, in a land where winter never truly relinquishes its grip, an enormous crater gapes open in the permafrost. This is the Batagaika crater, a place as eerie as it is mesmerizing, often referred to as the gateway to the underworld by locals. Stretching over a kilometer in length and sinking deeper every year, this scar in the Earth's surface is a result of the warming climate, an ever-growing chasm where the past and future collide. The walls of the crater reveal layers of Earth's history, each stratum exposing secrets frozen in time for thousands of years. Bones of long-extinct creatures, mammoths, prehistoric horses, and ancient bison have emerged from its depths, their remains astonishingly preserved in the icy ground. Some believe that as the crater continues to expand, it may yet reveal fossils of species unknown to science, creatures lost to time yet now beckoning from the abyss. But the Batagaika crater is more than just an archaeological gold mine. It is a living entity, an ever-changing landscape where eerie groans and rumbles echo from the depths, as if the earth itself is breathing. Scientists have warned that as the permafrost thaws, vast amounts of trapped greenhouse gases could be released into the atmosphere, accelerating climate change. This growing wound in Siberia is both a marvel and a warning, proof that nature is constantly shifting, that even the most ancient landscapes are not as immutable as they seem. Far from Siberia's frozen wilderness, nestled within the dense jungles of Venezuela, lies a place so otherworldly that it seems more like the surface of an alien planet than part of Earth. The Tepuis, ancient tabletop mountains, rise abruptly from the rainforest, their sheer cliffs reaching into the clouds. Among these, one of the most breathtaking is Mount Autana, a massive, isolated monolith carved by time and weather into a shape that defies reason. What makes Mount Autana particularly astonishing is the fact that it is a hollow mountain, a natural cathedral hidden within stone. A vast network of caves and tunnels runs through its core, some filled with crystal-clear pools and subterranean rivers. The caves are among the oldest on the planet, their formations dating back over 1 billion years, an age so immense that it is nearly incomprehensible. Legends among the indigenous Piaroa people tell of Mount Autana as the Tree of Life, the remnants of a giant primordial tree that once connected heaven and earth. They believe its hollow interior is sacred, a place where spirits dwell, watching over the land. Even for modern explorers, the experience of stepping into its echoing caverns, surrounded by towering walls of quartz and ancient stalactites, is nothing short of awe-inspiring. The air inside is thick with humidity and mystery, the silence occasionally broken by the distant sound of dripping water, as if the mountain itself is whispering secrets from deep within. Mount Autana stands as a sentinel of time, a place untouched by modern civilization. It is a reminder that some landscapes are not merely geological formations, but rather remnants of a forgotten past, echoes of a world that existed long before humanity took its first steps. Nestled between towering cliffs and the shimmering Adriatic Sea, Omish emerges as a timeless enclave where history and nature coalesce in breathtaking harmony. Once a formidable pirate stronghold, this Croatian gem invites travelers to wander through its cobblestone streets, where echoes of maritime legends whisper tales of daring escapades and hidden treasures. Perched atop rugged hills, the medieval fortresses of Mirabella and Fortica stand sentinel, offering panoramic vistas that stretch across terracotta rooftops to the azure horizon beyond. As you ascend these ancient ramparts, each step unveils a tapestry of landscapes, emerald forests, winding rivers, and the expansive sea that have witnessed centuries of human endeavor and natural splendor. For those seeking thrill and adventure, the Cetina River beckons with its crystalline waters carving through dramatic canyons. Here, the exhilaration of whitewater rafting melds with the serenity of untouched nature, creating an experience that quickens the pulse and soothes the soul in equal measure. Yet Omish is not solely for the intrepid. Along its sun-drenched coast lie pristine beaches like Velika Plaza, where golden sands meet gentle waves, crafting a sanctuary for relaxation and reflection. As the sun dips below the horizon, the town's waterfront comes alive with the aroma of freshly grilled seafood wafting from local taverns, harmonized by the soft strumming of Dalmatian folk melodies. Each summer, the spirit of the past is resurrected during the annual pirate battle reenactment, a spectacle where the town's storied legacy is celebrated with fervor and pageantry. Amidst the clash of swords and the boom of cannons, one is transported to an era where Omish ruled the waves, a testament to its enduring allure and indomitable spirit. Beyond the northernmost tip of Queensland, where the Coral Sea converges with the Arafura, lies the ethereal expanse of the Torres Strait Islands, a mosaic of over 200 atolls and islets, each a testament to nature's artistry and cultural resilience. Here, turquoise waters lap against powdery white sands, and vibrant coral reefs teem with marine life, painting an underwater tableau that rivals the world's finest. Stepping ashore, visitors are embraced by the warmth of indigenous communities whose traditions have flourished for millennia. The rhythm of island life is punctuated by the beat of drums and the swish of dancers' grass skirts, narrating stories of ancestral heroes and the timeless bond between land and sea. The island's remoteness has preserved their pristine beauty, offering intrepid travelers an unspoiled paradise far removed from the trappings of modern tourism. Whether sailing between islands under a canopy of stars, exploring ancient rock art sites, or simply basking in the serenity of secluded beaches, the Torres Strait Islands promise an immersion into a world where time ebbs and flows with the tides, and the soul finds its anchor amidst the vastness of the ocean. In the wind-swept grasslands of Patagonia, tucked beneath the soaring peaks of the Andes, there lies a lake so still, so clear, it seems to hold the sky itself in its hands. But this is not the famous glacial scenes often sought by tourists. This is Laguna Capri, a lesser-known wonder near El Chalten, Argentina, a place where solitude and silence reign like royalty. Reaching it is a hike through forest and rock, the trail winding like a thread between lenga trees and alpine flowers. The air is thin but sweet, filled with the breath of mountain herbs and the occasional cry of a condor tracing invisible currents far overhead. And then, like the opening of a curtain, the lake appears, a mirror of silver and glass tucked within a natural amphitheater. Here, Mount Fitzroy rises in the distance like a jagged crown, its snow-capped spires catching fire in the first rays of sunrise. The reflection is flawless, a perfect twin, and in that stillness, you feel it. Time pausing, the world holding its breath. You sit by the shore, you take off your boots, the icy water kisses your toes, grounding you in the moment. No shops, no crowds, just rock, sky, water, and the hush of eternity. Laguna Capri is not grand in size, but in spirit, it is colossal. And then there is Cappadocia, but not the usual balloon-filled dawns, not Joramë or the fairy chimneys that flood postcards. No, deeper in this Turkish dreamscape lies the forgotten valley of Ihlara, a volcanic gorge carved by fire and softened by centuries of river song. It stretches for nearly 15 kilometers, a deep green wound in the beige skin of the plateau, its cliffs towering on both sides like storybooks cracked open. You walk through it beneath the shade of fig and walnut trees, with the sound of the Melandiz River dancing over stones at your side. Above, the cliffs are riddled with carved-out chapels, some barely visible until you get close, their entrances disguised by ivy and silence. Inside, frescoes bloom on the walls, still vibrant after 1,000 years, saints and angels painted in colors that defy time. The air smells of dust, water, and ancient faith. Birds nest in forgotten altars, and every so often, you glimpse a monk's staircase, impossibly narrow, carved straight into the vertical stone. These were sanctuaries, places of prayer for those seeking solitude. Now they belong to the earth again, sacred, silent, still. At Belisirma, a tiny village along the trail, locals serve gözlemi and tea on riverside platforms that float gently above the current. You eat with your shoes off, your feet brushing the water, your eyes staring up at canyon walls that seem to hum with memory. The valley doesn't scream its beauty. It whispers, and if you listen long enough, it begins to sing. Tucked along the rugged coastline of Newfoundland, Canada, the tiny outpost of Tilt Cove lies forgotten by most of the world, cradled between towering cliffs and the restless Atlantic. Once a thriving mining town, Tilt Cove has faded into a quiet ghost, where brightly painted houses perch stubbornly against the sweeping might of the sea. The land feels alive here. Fierce winds chase mist across jagged rocks, and the ocean moans against the shoreline like some ancient creature stirring in its sleep. Walk along the solitary paths, where wildflowers bloom defiantly in every crack and crevice, their colors electric against the weathered stone. The remnants of old mining structures lean into the wind, their rusted frames transformed into monuments of resilience rather than decay. Tilt Cove is a place where silence has texture, where every breeze seems to carry the voices of those who once toiled and dreamed among these hills. The waters of the cove, impossibly clear, mirror the endless sky in shades of turquoise and indigo, broken only by the gliding shapes of seabirds carving graceful arcs through the air. At sunset, the cliffs blaze with a fierce orange light, and the little village glows like an ember against the encroaching dusk. In Tilt Cove, the ordinary alchemy of nature and memory creates something utterly extraordinary, a place where the weight of time feels gentle, like a hand resting lightly on your shoulder, and the edge of the world feels both impossibly distant and intimately close. Deep within the folds of Malaysia's Titiwangsa Mountains, where mist snakes through emerald canopies and rivers carve secret paths through dense jungle, lies the Cameron Highlands, an otherworldly tapestry of rolling tea plantations and ancient mossy forests. Here, the hills ripple in perfect symmetry, cloaked in seas of green that shimmer under the shifting moods of the sky. Narrow paths wind through endless rows of tea bushes, the scent of fresh leaves sweetening the air, while workers with nimble hands pluck the finest tips under a gauze of morning mist. Venture further, and the cultivated beauty gives way to untamed magic. The mossy forest looms like something conjured from an ancient legend, a primeval world where gnarled trees twist in silent agony, their limbs heavy with dripping moss and orchids that bloom like secret stars. The ground, soft and springy underfoot, exhales the sweet, damp breath of the earth, and every step feels like a journey deeper into an older, wilder version of the world. Wisps of cloud thread between the trees, blurring the lines between land and sky, between waking and dreaming. Tiny streams trickle over stones worn smooth by centuries of hidden flow, and the silence here hums with unseen life, an orchestra of insects, the distant call of unseen birds, the soft plash of unseen frogs in hidden pools. As twilight folds over the highlands, the hills blush under the soft hand of the setting sun, and the world seems to hold its breath. In the Cameron Highlands, nature writes its poetry in shades of green and gold, and every leaf, every stone, every shifting shadow invites you to linger just a little longer, suspended in a quiet miracle that feels untouched by time. In the heart of the Arctic Circle, a towering monolith rises from the frozen tundra like the last relic of an ancient world. This is Ulvatana Peak, one of the most striking and formidable mountains on Earth. Its sheer vertical face pierces the sky, a fortress of jagged rock and ice untouched by time. The peak, whose name means wolf's tooth in Norwegian, is a daunting and isolated wonder, standing defiantly in Queen Maud Land, Antarctica. Unlike other mountains that weather with time, Ulvatana remains eerily pristine, its knife-edged ridges untouched by erosion. The wind howls around it with a voice like a living thing, carving patterns into the ice sheets that cling to its surface. Few have ever attempted to climb it, and even fewer have succeeded. Those who have stood in its shadow describe an overwhelming sense of insignificance, as though standing before something not of this world. The landscape around it is a white abyss, stretching endlessly in all directions, broken only by the stark presence of this impossible peak. Sunlight refracts off the ice at certain angles, casting iridescent blues and greens across its surface, creating an effect so surreal it feels like an illusion. At night, when the Antarctic sky explodes into ribbons of aurora borealis, Ulvatana becomes a silhouette against a celestial firestorm. Here, beneath the unbroken expanse of the cosmos, it is easy to believe that this mountain is more than just rock and ice. It is a monument to something beyond human comprehension, a sentinel standing at the edge of the world. Beneath the vast expanse of human civilization, where towering skyscrapers and bustling streets define the modern world, there exists a place where nature and engineering collide in an astonishing display of innovation. This is Rotterdam, a city unlike any other, a place where the future has been built upon the waters of the past. At first glance, Rotterdam appears as a modern metropolis, a city of sleek, geometric buildings reflecting the ever-changing sky. But beneath its surface, an extraordinary feat of engineering reshapes the very idea of urban living, the floating pavilion. These enormous, interconnected domes, resembling giant glass bubbles upon the water, are not just architectural marvels, but a bold vision of how humanity may one day live alongside rising seas. Rotterdam has long been shaped by water, a city constantly adapting to the tides and storms that threaten its foundations. Unlike other places that fight against the sea, Rotterdam embraces it, creating floating parks, waterborne neighborhoods, and experimental designs that allow the city to grow not on land, but upon the very waves themselves. It is a glimpse into the future, a world where cities no longer resist nature but move with it. But Rotterdam's wonders extend beyond the futuristic. Deep within its urban sprawl, an artistic enigma lies hidden in plain sight: kubuswoningen, or the cube houses. These gravity-defying tilted structures stand at impossible angles, their bright yellow facades casting geometric shadows upon the streets below. Walking through them feels like stepping into an Escher painting, where perception bends and buildings appear to balance upon their corners like floating dice. And then, there is the Maislandkering, a colossal storm surge barrier that stands as one of the largest moving structures on Earth. When the sea rises in fury, threatening to flood the city, this behemoth swings shut, sealing Rotterdam off from disaster. It is a triumph of human ingenuity, an answer to the relentless force of nature that has shaped the Netherlands for centuries. Yet, despite its technological marvels, Rotterdam remains a city that listens to the past. Among its streets stand the remnants of the old world, where cobblestone paths whisper the stories of those who walked them long before steel and glass came to dominate the skyline. It is a place of resilience, where history and the future meet upon the water's edge, forever shifting, forever evolving. Far from the dense jungles of South America, another towering marvel rises from the earth, a mountain so uniquely sculpted by time that it seems almost alien. Nestled in the Canadian Rockies, Moraine Lake is a spectacle of nature that defies the imagination. Set within the Valley of the 10 Peaks, its waters glow with an impossible shade of blue, a result of glacial silt refracting the sunlight in a dazzling display of color. As dawn breaks over the mountains, the first light of day spills across the water, setting it ablaze with hues of turquoise and sapphire. The stillness is absolute, broken only by the distant call of a loon or the rustling of the towering pines that line the shore. To paddle across these waters is to glide through a dream, the peaks towering above like silent guardians, their snow-capped summits reflected perfectly in the glassy surface below. For those who seek adventure, Moraine Lake offers more than just serenity. Trails wind through the valley, leading to vistas so breathtaking they seem almost unreal. The Rockpile Trail, though short, rewards hikers with the iconic panoramic view of the lake, its impossible colors framed by the rugged majesty of the mountains. Further beyond, the Sentinel Pass Trail winds through larch forests that turn to gold in the autumn, offering a view that stretches endlessly across the wild heart of the Canadian Rockies. As night falls, the lake takes on a different kind of beauty. Beneath the vast expanse of the Milky Way, the landscape is transformed into a realm of shadows and starlight, where the silence is broken only by the whisper of the wind through the trees. In this place, where the air is crisp and the wilderness untamed, one cannot help but feel a profound sense of awe, a connection to something greater than oneself, something eternal. There is a land at the edge of the world where desert sands meet the sea with no warning, where colossal dunes collapse into waves, and silence carries the weight of ancient winds. This is the Namibrand Nature Reserve in southern Namibia, not the famous dunes of Sossusvlei or the cracked white clay of Deadvlei, both off-limits, but a lesser-known marvel that swallows you whole in its boundless wonder. The air here tastes of heat and distance. It carries the scent of dust warmed by relentless sun, of thorn bushes baked into stillness. In this private reserve, life feels distilled to its most essential elements: sky, sand, and space. The dunes move like frozen fire, wind-swept crests curling like ocean breakers, their shadows carving sculptural valleys in burnt orange and crimson. At dawn, the light spills across the terrain like melted copper. At night, the stars arrive with a vengeance, flaring across a blackness so vast it makes your breath slow. This is one of the only places on Earth certified as a Gold-tier International Dark Sky Reserve, and it shows. The constellations don't just shine, they burn. Wandering across this otherworldly landscape, you might come across oryx standing solemnly against the horizon, their long horns slicing the sky, or a lone jackal leaving footprints in the sand. Life is rare but present, resilient, adapted, reverent of this harsh cathedral. There are no cities here, no roads paved with convenience, only silence, only wind, only the endless song of the earth untouched. Let's travel over to Chamonix, France, a name that hangs in the air like a prayer, a whisper of something sacred. Beneath the towering Mont Blanc, the highest peak in Western Europe, Chamonix stretches out like a secret cradled between the arms of ancient stone giants. Dawn unfurls in brushstrokes of gold and rose, splashing color across glaciers that breathe and crack in the shifting light. Here, the mountains are not mere scenery. They are alive. They speak. They sigh with winds that tumble down icy cliffs and whisper through pine forests dusted with powdered snow. Every creaking step along the trails feels like a conversation with the earth itself, an echo of the alpinists and dreamers who once traced these same fragile paths. In the heart of the valley, streets weave through chalets adorned with wooden shutters and cascading flowers, each window framing a new masterpiece of nature. The Aiguille du Midi cable car lifts you into the belly of the clouds, where the world below seems a distant memory, softened into abstraction by swirling mists. At the Mer de Glace, ice grottos sparkle with surreal blue light, the frozen heart of a glacier laid bare for the brave to explore. In winter, the mountains gleam under a crystalline shroud, inviting skiers to dance their lines into the untouched snowfields. In summer, they awaken in a riot of green and wildflowers, the scent of alpine herbs perfuming the air. Chamonix is a place where the veil between dreams and reality is thinner, where each breath feels like communion, and every heartbeat echoes against the immensity of the wild. It is not simply a destination, it is an awakening, a summons to the wild, unchained spirit within. Tucked into the farthest eastern fingers of Iceland, where few travelers venture and the land itself seems to breathe with a quiet, ancient pulse, lies Borgarfjörður Eystri, a village so small that it seems almost imagined, painted in splashes of color against a vast canvas of green valleys and jagged mountains. The road that leads here twists and sighs through dreamlike landscapes, each turn revealing fjords brushed by low clouds and hills stitched with the violet embroidery of wild lupines. It feels like crossing into another realm, a forgotten world where the rules of time have slipped away. Borgarfjörður Eystri is not grand in scale, but grand in spirit. The cliffs near Hafnarholmi teem with puffins, their comical, bright-beaked faces peeking from burrows and flying in wild, joyful swoops over the restless sea. The mountains that rise around the village, Dyrfjöll and beyond, wear cloaks of mist and legend, said to shelter the hidden people, the Huldufolk, who move unseen among the stones. Hiking trails unfurl like secret paths into untouched valleys, where waterfalls whisper among moss-covered rocks and silence wraps around you like a warm, living thing. The evening light here stretches into near eternity during summer, a soft luminescence that bathes everything in a surreal, golden tranquility. And in winter, The auroras waltz and weave across the ink-black sky, shimmering in hues of emerald and violet, as if the heavens themselves are dancing in secret celebration. Borgarfjörður Eystri is not just a place to visit. It is a place to disappear, to dissolve into wonder, to remember how vast and tender the world can be when it has been left wild and free. From the burning heart of Java, we travel across the Indian Ocean to a place of staggering natural beauty, the towering cliffs of Bunda Cliffs in Australia. Known as the edge of the world, these sheer limestone walls rise dramatically from the Southern Ocean, stretching for over 100 kilometers in an unbroken, awe-inspiring line. Standing atop the cliffs, the view is nothing short of breathtaking. The turquoise waters crash against the base of the precipice, sending white plumes of spray skyward. Below, the waves have carved massive caves and arches into the rock, shaping the land through endless centuries of erosion. Above, the sky stretches in all directions, an endless vault of blue that meets the horizon in a seamless embrace. But the cliffs hold more than just scenic beauty. They are a place of deep geological significance. Fossils embedded within their walls tell the story of an ancient seabed, a time when the land beneath our feet was submerged beneath vast prehistoric oceans. To gaze upon them is to peer back into Earth's distant past, to see in stone the record of worlds that came before our own. High above the world, where the thin air hums with silence and the sky stretches into infinity, an isolated peak stands as a testament to the extremes of nature. Mount Thor, Canada's great granite sentinel. Located in the remote wilderness of Baffin Island, this monolithic cliff face holds a staggering record, the greatest vertical drop on Earth. Its west face plummets an astonishing 1,250 meters, a sheer, uninterrupted wall of rock that seems to defy gravity itself. Unlike other peaks that erode into jagged ridges over time, Mount Thor remains eerily smooth, as if sculpted by unseen hands. The scale of it is almost unfathomable. Standing at its base, the cliff looms overhead like an impossible gateway into the heavens. It is a place that has humbled even the most daring climbers, its surface so steep that a single misstep could mean falling into eternity. But for all its harshness, Mount Thor is a place of pristine beauty. During the long Arctic summer, the sun never truly sets, casting an ethereal glow upon the icy rivers and tundra that surround it. The air, crisp and untouched by pollution, carries the scent of ancient stone and frost. And above, the auroras dance in spectral waves, illuminating the mountain with ribbons of green and violet, as if the sky itself pays homage to its silent guardian. Far from the misty mountains of China, another world of water and stone awaits. One that could not be more different yet is just as extraordinary. Deep in the remote deserts of Arizona, hidden within the heart of the Havasupai tribal lands, lies Havasu Falls, an oasis of impossible beauty in a land of sun-scorched rock. Reaching Havasu Falls is no easy feat. The journey begins with a grueling 10-mile trek through the parched, red rock canyons of the Grand Canyon's lesser-known western reaches. The sun blazes overhead, and the air is thick with the scent of dust and creosote. But then, like a mirage materializing from the heat, the canyon floor opens to reveal a paradise so vibrant it seems almost unnatural. Here, amidst the burnt orange cliffs, waterfalls of the purest turquoise tumble into shimmering pools, their waters imbued with minerals that give them an almost luminous glow. Havasu Falls, the most famous of them all, plunges nearly 100 feet over a limestone ledge, its waters crashing into an electric blue basin framed by lush green vegetation. The contrast between the vivid water and the fiery rock is surreal, as if nature itself has defied logic to create something utterly unique. But Havasu Falls is just the beginning. Further down the canyon, Mooney Falls roars with untamed power, cascading 200 feet down a sheer cliff face into a mist-shrouded pool below. The descent to its base is an adventure in itself. Carved footholds, chains, and ladders guide the way through a near-vertical rock face, the air thick with the thunderous sound of falling water. Those who dare the descent are rewarded with a view so raw and powerful that it takes the breath away. The Havasupai people, whose name means people of the blue-green waters, have lived in this canyon for centuries, their lives deeply intertwined with the land and its sacred waters. To visit this place is to step into a world where time moves differently, where the only sounds are the rush of waterfalls and the wind whispering through the canyon walls. In the depths of the Central Asian steppe, far from highways and cities, lies a shimmering illusion born of wind and silence. Lake Kindy in Kazakhstan. But this is not a lake in the traditional sense. This is something stranger, a sunken forest, a phantom wood that rises from turquoise water, bare trunks piercing the surface like spears frozen mid-battle. Formed by a limestone landslide after an earthquake in 1911, Lake Kindy is a secret the earth kept quiet for over a century. The forest that once stood tall now lives underwater, its ghostly spruce trees preserved by the lake's icy chill, their branches still visible beneath the surface when the light hits just right. Above, only the trunks remain, pale, skeletal forms standing in perfect rows like mourners in prayer. The hike to the lake is its own rite of passage. You cross rolling meadows, where wild horses graze under the watch of distant peaks, and ascend through alpine forests humming with birdsong. Then, without warning, the land opens and the lake appears, blue as sapphire and still as glass, holding the memory of trees and time. The water is impossibly clear. Divers who descend into its depths find themselves drifting among the submerged forest, gliding past trees whose roots still clutch the drowned soil. It is a dive through dimensions, land, air, water, and time all colliding in a quiet, sacred ballet. Above water, the wind moves through the valley, rustling leaves that no longer exist, and you stand at the edge of the lake, heart slowed, breath hushed, knowing you've found something that looks like a place but feels like a spell. In the heart of Portugal's Algarve region lies the enchanting village of Faragudo, a destination that seems to have gracefully eluded the march of time. This coastal haven, with its whitewashed cottages adorned with vibrant bougainvillea, offers a tranquil retreat from the bustling tourist trails, inviting visitors to immerse themselves in authentic Portuguese charm. As you stroll through the narrow, winding streets, the scent of freshly baked bread mingles with the salty sea breeze, leading you toward the central square, Largo Rainha Dona Leonor. Here, locals gather in the shade of ancient olive trees, sharing stories over cups of strong espresso, their laughter harmonizing with the distant cry of seagulls. The village's shoreline is a tapestry of secluded coves and golden beaches, each with its own unique allure. Praia Grande, with its expansive sands and calm waters, is perfect for sunbathing and leisurely swims, while the more secluded Praia dos Caneiros, framed by dramatic cliffs, offers a serene escape for those seeking solitude. Overlooking the harbor stands the Castelo de São João do Arade, a 16th century fortress that once guarded the coast from pirates. Its weathered stone walls and commanding presence serve as a poignant reminder of Faragudo's rich maritime history, inviting exploration and contemplation. As evening descends, the village comes alive with the aroma of grilled sardines and the soulful melodies of fado music emanating from local taverns. Dining al fresco, under a canopy of stars, you'll savor the flavors of the sea, accompanied by the robust notes of regional wines, each sip capturing the essence of the Algarve's sun-drenched vineyards. Ferragudo's allure lies not in grand monuments or bustling nightlife, but in its simplicity and authenticity. It's a place where time slows, allowing you to reconnect with the rhythms of nature and the warmth of community, a hidden gem that leaves an indelible mark on the soul.